Hello everyone, it's Everything Buzz City here, back again with another video. And today we got a really special one. I'm joined by the great Trust the Buzz and Buzz Boys. Thank you guys for coming up and having a little show for us.
Yes, sir.
Anytime,
Yes, sir.
anytime.
Yes, sir. Got to
All
cook
right.
up.
Today we're gonna have a post, post All-Star breakdown on the season and expectations on the rest of the year, and we're going to do a couple player highlights and talk about the new ownership as well. I think I'll start off with I'll start since want to do this. Number one, we're going to talk about overall thoughts on the season so far. Most of the year I've been really negative on this team. I felt like most of the year, especially after Terry left, that this wasn't even a basketball team at this point. And I kind of lost faith of what we were building in Charlotte. But I will say, and we'll talk about the trade deadline, I will say these past few games, it's really looked like a team that can compete every game, and was really the vibe I got in 2021, which was every time I got home, I knew if I turned the game on, I have a shot to win every single game. And I'm really interested to see once LaMelo Ball is able to get his hands on, spacing. I talked about this earlier in the year before the season started, that for him to reach that next level, he's going to have to drive. He's going to have to finish inside and get to the line. And this year, he's taken a massive step in that aspect, and now he's a all around offensive superstar in my opinion. And once you get with Grant Williams, Seth Curry, you're not running around with JT Thor. I know, Buzz, you love
I
JT
don't.
Thor,
I
but
don't love Digi Thor, but he's all right. But it just is what it is, man. He has
yeah,
some
so
potential, but
yeah,
at,
but no,
at,
he got to go, bro. He got to go.
he do has to go. I like JT Thor too, but yeah, he has to go. If he, I thought
at
he
a
would get
certain
better.
point, yeah,
He
at a
just
certain
didn't get
point,
better.
potential. At a certain point, potential has to turn into production, and
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
like, I mean, at a certain point, it's like, yeah, he's not getting the minutes, but then it's like, with the injuries, I'm like, okay, he played 17, 18 minutes tonight. It's like your stats still look the same. You still got, 2 points, one rebound. Like, what the hell? So I
and
mean,
not
but
even good defense either.
yeah,
Because
his
we
defense
watch
ain't
every
great.
game, so we would at least
Yeah,
know. It's like if, like, for example, if a random fan were to watch and say he didn't do nothing, it's like we should at least be able to get your back and
yeah,
say, well,
like, yeah, he
no, it's
played
not going to show
defense,
up on the stat sheet, but
but
we weren't even able to say that.
I will say a few games before he got benched, like he had like 8 points, eight
Oh yeah, he
rebounds.
was scoring.
Like
He
he
knew.
started
He
hooping.
knew what
He
was
started
coming.
hooping. He started hooping, bro, and then it didn't matter. He still had to play since. So it was
He knew
like,
what was
dang, bro,
coming.
too little, too late. Like, players shouldn't need the motivation. But once his contract got guaranteed, though, he did gotta start hooping. I don't know,
Yeah,
man. It's the NBA. You shouldn't need motivation. That's the problem with this team.
yeah.
all right. Yeah, that's I'll think I'll end it there. When you guys want to talk about that
Yeah.
point.
I don't have no problem going with it. What was the question? The overall feel about the season?
Overall thoughts on the season so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, really personally, it's kind of was similar to me to the other seasons. I mean, injuries happened early, and we got derailed before we even got started. So it was like, I mean, it was hard to kind of look at the team for what it should have been. I mean, Miles missed the first 10 games. Then LaMelo got hurt. When did he get hurt? Probably the 15th game or so. I mean,
Yeah, it wasn't
15th,
short
16th
after
game.
Miles
Yeah,
came back. It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
long after.
So
Yeah.
I mean, our starting lineup played a combined 17 minutes this season. I mean, so it was like, uh, obviously, you have to judge what's on the floor. You have no other option. And I mean, at times we looked absolutely disgusting because I mean, you look at the team. It's a borderline G League team. We were the Greensboro Hornets. I mean, half the time, I mean, the rotation pieces were literally not even NBA caliber. So it's like part of me was hard on, and part of me was like, I didn't put too much into it because I know this is not the real team. But at a certain point in time, you are who you are. You are who your record says you are. All of those things factor in because it's like, Mitch, why did you not see that this roster was ass before the season started? So it goes hand in hand. But I mean, me personally, I was disappointed because I did think that this was a year where, okay, you get Miles back, you're adding in a top three pick and Brandon Miller, and, Gordon should be healthy. You're in your head, you still got that, 43, 44 win season in your head. Okay, we just got to get healthy and we're back. And it just ended up not being that. So overall, I am disappointed because once again, we're here like, all right, next year. We're like, man, I'm tired of that shit. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of next year's year, bro. Like, I feel like a freaking Knicks fan, bro. Like, oh my god. But I mean, overall, we saw Brandon do what we wanted him to do as a number three pick. I mean, he's exceeded what we wanted him to do, in my opinion. Um, he looks like a real cornerstone, which is what you want to see out of a rookie. And I mean, in a way now with the trade, totally different team, you have hope to where it's actually realistic when you say, okay, next year, because now the team isn't full of injury prone old motherfuckers or people who don't care about basketball. Now you have a real roster and you're going to be adding potentially another top three pick or top five pick. And I mean, your young piece have shown you what you needed to. And now it's like, okay, LaMelo is healthy, Mark is healthy. You could actually have some real hope. So I'm feeling pretty good about next year. As far as this season, like I kind of got to just view it as a wash. I guess I'll give it like a C minus, a D plus. I don't know.
I mean, I agree. It's this season. It was one of those seasons where at the beginning I was like, there's no way this team is good enough. I just didn't see it with Gordon. I still don't like. Still didn't like the fit with LaMelo and Terry specifically. It just wasn't going to work. And that's another thing people think you have to say one's bad to say the other one's good. For me, I just felt like they just did they what they did well, you cannot do that with someone else who needs the ball, as much as the other person did. So it was just, to me, it was never going to work. And neither one of them played that much defense. And I know some people get on LaMelo for playing defense. I mean, look how much people praise Tyrese Halliburton. He literally doesn't play any defense. So I'm not worried. If you can, similar to something Buzz Hitty said about how he thinks LaMelo's like an offensive cornerstone. That's how I feel. And if you're going to be my offensive cornerstone, I don't need you to play defense. But the problem was they didn't get anybody else to play defense either. And it just really, it was one of those things where you don't believe in the team, but then as we get closer to season, Mitch kept saying this is a good team. I see them in practice. And it comes to where either I'm going to be overly pessimistic and just piss myself off for the rest of the season for no reason, or I'm gonna believe what he says because I'm not in the building. And I took the route right before the season. I was like, I'm gonna take the route. I'm not in the building. He obviously knows better than me. I without even seeing a team after what happened, I was like, I should have just stuck to my gut because I could have told you Bryce McGowan was not going to be a sixth man. I could have
Yeah,
told you that these guys weren't going to be. I mean, they're lucky that Brandon Miller ended up playing the way he has. They're lucky that even to me, Nick Smith Jr. has played the way that he has.
yeah,
I will say him going to the G League is because some people looked at it as, oh, we're sending another one to the G League. I think him being sent to the G League is a little different. Everyone else was getting sent to the G League because they weren't good. Him, I think he needs to work on some specific skills that you're not going to get the minutes for. Because if he does get
yeah,
minutes, he's going to be in the corner. I mean, he's been super efficient from there, but that's where he's just going to be. He's not going to get those like lead guard minutes or lead score minutes. He's just not going to get those kind of minutes with this new roster. So him get to sent to the G League, I see it as a completely different thing than everybody else. So the season overall, I've always just wanted a team to compete. I made jokes and people were getting annoyed. I was like, I'm gonna leave the team. They were like, oh, we were tired of hearing you say that. I don't care. I just want a team that I don't care if they're good or not. I just want to see a team that plays, that actually plays. And we've gotten that these last 3 games, and we've won because of it. I think it's going to be a little different because I will say that the caveat is all 3 of those teams probably, even the Grizzlies, probably walked into Charlotte and was like, it's the Hornets. I mean, I know they got new players, but we can probably walk over them. And then Grant Williams, you got Seth Curry scoring 18 points one game, Vasilije Micic scoring 18 points one game. So it definitely has me excited for the rest of the season. But previously, I was just concerned because of the fact that that team that was good, that was 2 years ago. The whole East has changed since then. And even then, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all remember we were so offensively gifted, it bailed us out a lot. There was a lot of things wrong with that team, but we got bailed out because if I'm not mistaken, we had like 4 20-point scores. So I mean, you don't really have to play much defense when you're putting up like 130 or 120 a game. But the whole East got better, and then I wouldn't say we got worse, but you got. I mean, like I said, you got LaMelo kind of entering his own, so that kind of takes away from Terry. So Terry's not as good. Miles is coming back after missing a year, and Gordon Hayward's constantly hurt. And then you add Mark Williams, who he got hurt. It's like
okay, so hold on though, because like this is like hindsight is kind of 2020. You already know what happened, but you said before the season started, you were like, "We're gonna be trash." Like you didn't think
I didn't think we would be this bad. No, I didn't think we would be this bad.
Because honestly, I was looking at it like, okay, you lose Kelly Oubre, but you add a top 3 pick, and you replacing Plumlee with Mark Williams, and you're replacing Biyombo with Nick Richards. So to me, I was kind of viewing it like, we could still do something, but it seems like you were like before the season even started, you're like, nah, we're ass.
No, I wasn't. I didn't think we would be this bad. Let me look at this. I'm gonna look at the standings real quick. I thought we would be somewhere like
I thought we would be
maybe where the net. I'll say this. I thought the entire East would be better, like this bottom half. But then I thought we would be kind of where the Nets are. So like right now, the East is like at 7. You got the Heat with 30 wins, and then an 8 Orlando with 30 wins, and then it kind of falls off to 9 Chicago with 26. I thought we would be in that like 9, 10, 11 range, but I also thought everybody would kind of already have like 30 wins at this point. So I didn't think the East would be this bad, but I also didn't think we would be that good, if that makes any sense. So I didn't think we would be horrible. I just thought that we would kind of be outside looking in, but it was because the East was pretty good. I thought we would still have a decent season. It just wouldn't be to the point where, we're in the playoffs. And I thought it was just because we had a strong East, and I was wrong about that. I thought Atlanta was going to be a lot better. I thought Chicago. I don't think Chicago's good, but I thought they'll be better than what they are.
That's cooked.
Yeah, I thought it would at least be like 500, a game of 500. There are 3 games under 500, and it doesn't look. I mean, they had to get rid of Zach LaVine. Well, not get rid of him, but he got injured to allow Kobe White to kind of take over, and they kind of look better. So, yeah, I'll be lying if I said I thought we would be a playoff team, but I also didn't think we would be this bad, or the entire East as a whole would be this bad.
I thought that. But before the season, I did my record, and I really thought we were going to be like a 35 win team, 38, something like that. Maybe we could get to 40, but I saw it would have to be perfect, right, for you to even possibly go 500, 40, 42, because you're asking Gordon Hayward, who in his entire time here never played over 50 games, right? That's a fact. And then you're asking LaMelo Ball, who the last 2 years coming off of surgery, where he still has, I believe he still has that plate,
metal rod,
yeah. And you're asking him to play not 60 but 70, like when I believe when we won 43 games, he played like 70 games or 68, something like that. So it's a lot of things you need to go right. You need Miles Bridges to stay out of trouble. You need Brandon Miller to elevate. You need Terry Rozier to stay healthy. So it was a ton of things before the year started, and I felt like we have such bad luck. There's no possible way that it's all going to go right, and it all went wrong, like from the jump. What we had like 5 minutes of our starting lineup,
and it looked good.
17 total minutes
against the Magic, and then my dreams were crushed right here watching this game as he tore his freaking ankle up. But
Carroll, man, terrible.
Yeah, Pablo. I can't believe he did. I was so mad on Twitter. Like, I was going to Magic fans. I mean, like, screw you, bro. You hurt my best player. I was raging. But anyway, since we're kind of on, you guys touched on kind of the trade deadline and this roster. I want to ask you guys, what will the Mitch Kupchak era, if you had to put a word on it, how would you define his GM job?
Delusional.
Mm,
That would be mine.
I would say complacent.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Those are good. And the reason I bring him up, man, is just both of those I completely agree with. There's an issue when you went into the year, and I felt like this was the major issue. The roster construction. I mean, you look at DSJ, who rejuvenated his entire career here in Charlotte. He was my favorite player to watch on that team. I felt like he changed. He gave us more of a culture.
He actually played defense.
Yes, actually, there's a video on YouTube that I watched during the preseason or whatever, and this guy brought up the stats on Mark Williams and Dennis Smith Jr. And while they were both on the court, they had a top 10 defensive plus minus in the entire league. They were a top 10 defensive duo. So when I saw Mark struggling during the year, and a lot of fans were upset, they're like, "Well, what's going on? What's going on?" And a lot of people don't understand the importance of having a perimeter stopper, of having a guy that you can play in pick and roll sets and you can trust to play hard on hedges. Like if you go back and watch, Clifford was running a lot of like doubles out of these these screens, and ball handlers would go like to the corner, and it'd be hard hedges because Dennis Smith Jr. played with that tenacity, and he was able to get his hands on balls and allowed Mark Williams to go up and contest shots, and we had a great defense. But when you lose that and you replace that, hold on, give me a second. You replace that with Frank Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina, who played 5 games,
10 thought
minutes.
They did something too, because he was signed the same way Dennis Smith Jr. was signed last year, like right before the season.
End of the season,
just we pulled this guy out. It's like, no, there's a difference. There is a complete difference. Dennis Smith Jr. struggled to stay on the team after leaving the Mavs. But remember, he was only kicked off the Mavs because they got Luka. It wasn't like he was bad. I don't really remember what happened with him.
He also was actually pretty good in Portland.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Portland.
Yeah, he got hurt. And Portland ended up waiving him before he recovered. But the difference between Dennis Smith Jr. and Frank Ntilikina was that Dennis Smith Jr. had success in the NBA at some point. And even his most recent years before the Hornets, he was still a decent player. I mean, like he was okay. Like, okay.
He averaged like 18 points a game one season or something close to that.
There was enough here to say, you know what, he has upside, like, low risk, high reward type thing. And it kind of how it ended up playing out. Now, the thing with Dennis Smith Jr., a lot of Hornets fans like get on us for losing him, but we did offer him more money than the Nets.
He did
offer him more money. He did not want to come back, which surprised me because he's a North Carolina guy. Now, you never know what's happening in the locker room. You never know what's happening, with the overall chemistry. Our medical staff sucks. You never know what it really could have been. That's like, you know what, I'm leaving. And it could have just been only like $1 million, $2 million difference to him. It was like, he thought he was going to get a bigger opportunity in Brooklyn.
Yes.
I haven't been watching them. I mean, he played a lot for us, so I don't know how much more he thought he was going to get in Brooklyn.
I think he thought he was going to start.
I mean, like, because
it was Dinwiddie, Ben Simmons. Like, that was his competition. And, I mean, I would have thought I was going to start too. But
Yeah,
I
yeah. So
guess.
yeah, so he probably thought he was gonna start, but honestly, man, Mitch Kupchak, the egregious shit that he did this offseason, I mean, it was nasty. And I don't know about you, Darian, and I don't know about you, but I know that I made an offseason, here's who we should sign video.
Oh,
And I had I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did make a video there. And I had 14 to 16. Like, I went into depth on that freaking video, bro. And out of the 14, 16 people, 12 or 13 were guards. And we signed none of them. None. Zero. None of them, bro. None of them. We grabbed people off the street. Like Edmund Sumner. Oh, he just got cut. Yeah, bring him in. Ish Smith, you're about to retire? No. Don't go to the couch, man. Come back. Tap in.
you
Frank
don't need to go to
Ntilikina.
that Wake Forest
Bro,
game.
was he even in the freaking league? I don't even know. Oh, he was sitting on somebody's bench, wasn't he? I don't know.
Who?
But
Denver.
Frank.
Oh, Frank. He was Dallas.
He was with Dallas. Yeah, he
Yeah,
had
he was
that
with
one
Dallas.
good playoff series
Yeah,
with
he was with
Garden Devin Booker, and that was kind of it for
bro.
him.
He was in Dallas averaging 2 points. Oh yeah, let's bring him in. He's never been a scorer. He's never been shit. So it's why
Not
would
even
we bring him
not
in?
even a good guard.
Edmund Sumner, R.J. Hunter, whatever his name was, bro. These people are barely even in the league. And look at our team now. Teo Maladine, not in the league. Ish Smith, not in the league. None of the people that we let go are even in the league. Like, what the bro? That's where I gotta look at Mitch bro, why every offseason were you so cheap? We didn't even use our MLE. We didn't even use it. We could have used that for Kelly Oubre and just be like, here, take this free $12 million or whatever and come back. We literally didn't use it on anybody. I don't know. That right there didn't make any sense to me.
Nah, I agree. And I mean, all that goes into why I think he was delusional. And the main reason was he didn't know when to stop. He didn't know when to call it. He didn't know when to say, all right, I may have messed up, but let's pivot or let's stop. That's another thing. I felt as though I know a lot of people are calling for trades, like trade this person, trade that person. It's like, or you could just stop doing the crap you're doing. Stop pulling people off the street at the last minute. You knew we needed a guard. Considering this is another thing. Even outside of just wanting to have a backup guard, LaMelo's coming off an injury that essentially sidelined him for the rest of the season last year. Why would you want him to have to come back and play starter minutes when after 15 games of even LaMelo stands kind of trashing LaMelo, not in a bad way, we're just saying I thought he was going to be better than this.
Shit, I'm not going to lie.
Right. Mitch Kupchak came out and was like, well, he just now got healthy 3 days, not even healthy. He just started basketball activity 3 or 5 days before the season. It's like, well, we didn't know that. So if you knew that, why did you not get a real guard?
Yeah.
So not only did you wait to the last minute, but you also got Frank Ntilikina, who doesn't do anything similar to what LaMelo
doesn't do anything well, period, really.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just it doesn't make any sense. Ish Smith somewhat made sense because he can somewhat run an offense, but he's also 107. So it's why would you? It just didn't make any sense. Stuff like that is that's why I call him delusional.
We should have just went out and got Isaiah Thomas. He'd be begging for a job, bro.
That, I would have preferred that.
And the thing about him, the team liked him. He actually provided veteran leadership, and him and LaMelo had a bond. And on top of that, he scored. And his defense was actually not that bad. As bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, for his height, for sure. Yeah,
it really was not. So
he would at least get in your face.
Yeah, I'll bring Isaiah Thomas back and let him have 9 to 11 points or something. He could have did that because he was getting bucks. He had a few 20-point games. This ain't no shit, bro. This is gonna give you 4 points. He's gonna dribble in a circle and he's gonna drive fast and he's gonna pull it back out and that's pretty much about it, bro. That's all he has, bro. Or he's gonna get downhill and pull with the fucking midi. That's it.
Exactly. Every time he's gonna make the first one. He's gonna make the first midi, but then miss the next 3. Because he hits that first one, it's like, you know what? Maybe I've been too harsh on him. Then he misses the next 3. It's like, never mind. But yeah, overall, I think just Mitch is just he if he made a bad decision, he didn't know how to adjust, and not even adjust as in, okay, I'm in the middle of this bad move. The bad move will be long over, and he would just make it again instead of saying, okay, well, let me adjust. That didn't work, so let me try to grab, do something else. I really think they got Frank Ntilikina hoping he would be DSJ. I think that's all it was. I don't think there was any other thought behind it, as in we did it last year, let's try to do it again. That's all it was. I don't think they even looked at the market for guards.
I think, and I'll end on this. I think he put too much of an emphasis on development in terms of young players. So when I looked at the roster before the year started, if I'm looking at Mitch Kupchak and I'm trying to understand why you wouldn't go and try to bring in really anybody at all,
any veterans whatsoever,
anyone. You let Kelly walk, right? Which, hindsight is whatever, but let's be honest. All of us are sitting here and saying he probably should walk because you're bringing in a new rookie at his position. You have Gordon Hayward. You don't want a log jam. You got Cody coming back. You have Bryce McGowan's. So that's a log jam at the 3, which is what I thought he would mostly play, which apparently he plays shooting guard. Maybe he's Paul George. We'll get in that in a little bit. But I just felt like he put too much emphasis on these young players, i.e. Bryce McGowan's, JT Thor, James Bouknight. I'll go.
We didn't even replace Ty Jones. We didn't even replace him. Like it was just kind of like once he lost his mind, it was like, okay.
But again,
replaced him with another body or brought over
Kai. He was on the roster up until preseason. So
yeah, I mean they were going to let it ride until I think he publicly requested a trade.
Until he lost his marbles and said,
yeah. But even with the videos, I think they were just going to be like, okay, like we'll just. But I think it was like the trading part where they were like, oh, this is where we cut. It's like
it was just like, all right.
Yeah.
But also it's just like y'all didn't play. I don't know, but yeah, it was just weird. It was just a weird situation overall. The whole offseason.
Yeah.
And to your point, they were trying to help the younger, like they were trying to get the younger guys in the mix. But I that's where I want to know kind of who came up with that call, because from my experience just watching Steve Clifford, what I take, he seems pretty honest. If someone's not doing well, he's gonna say, well, he's not gonna say who, but he's gonna say like we or whatever. I wonder where, hey, let's focus on these young guys came from, because if it's Steve Clifford, I just don't believe it, because he's very honest. Like now maybe he talks to Mitch, the person who signs his checks, in a different tone. Yeah. But at least in post-game press conferences, he says we don't do X, Y, and Z well. So if Mitch comes to him and says, hey, where do we need to do with this roster? Should we maybe go pick up somebody, or do you think that the answers can be found in this roster? I just don't see Cliff saying, yeah, we got Bryce McGowan's. Yeah, we got JT Thor. I don't see him saying that. But once again, I mean, Mitch writes his checks, so maybe he's just a different tune.
I always go back to his Laker days when he was given the GM position. When that wasn't, I mean, he was a part of the Kobe championship run. He was a part of that front office that traded for Powell. But when he actually got the main job, he drafted guys like Jordan Clarkson. He drafted guys like Brandon Ingram. He drafted Julius Randle. He drafted Zubac. He drafted Russell. He drafted Ball. Well, I don't think he drafted Ball, but those teams were awful. Those were awful teams. Like, those were some of the worst Laker teams we've ever seen. And it was because Kobe was really the only vet. And it was mostly just him gathering young pieces, young players, and just throwing them out there and praying that they worked. And actually, a lot of those guys turned out to be pretty good pros. Right. But that's how Mitch Kupchak builds his teams. And right now, and we're going to go ahead and get into it, this is not where this team is. It's a team that is looking for one more piece, one more foundational piece to move forward into now, okay, let's compete not only for play-ins, let's compete to make these lower seeds in the playoffs and get experience. So we'll start off with the trade deadline. These are my thoughts on the trade deadline. I feel like this is an punch of fresh air for the fan base, for this team, for the culture. Honestly, I think it's comedic that when this trade happened and Steve Clifford was able to get his hands on all these guys, you didn't get a single minute of any of our role players or our bench players before. Nick Smith Jr., sorry, brother. I love you, but you got to go. Bryce McGowan's, go laugh on the bench. JT Thor, go hang out with the assistants. All right. This is time for Davis Bertans, Micic, Mann, and Curry. So I'll let you guys go real quick, but I'm super high on this trade. I feel like this sets a foundation moving into next year with a lot of these guys not expiring. The only guy really is Bertans, and the only decision we have this offseason is going to be Miles Bertans, who I believe you can buy him out basically, and JT Thor. So we're fresh to add somebody new, re-sign Miles, but what are you guys' thoughts? Because I absolutely love everyone in this trade.
No, do you want to go first? It don't matter.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. No, I mean, personally, I mean, man, I don't care who did it. You know, there's reports, you know, Mitch was in control, and there was reports that, you know, it really was the owners. And I mean, Mitch did come out and say, you know, he was surprised that the owners had so much knowledge. And so that right there tells me, you know, they were involved. I don't care who did it. Masterclass. We robbed both teams. I really don't care who was behind it. I'm just glad that it happened. I mean, we fleeced them. We fleeced both teams, bro. PJ Washington, the Mavs fans have already turned on him immediately. He had back-to-back like 4-point games or something like that. Bro, the TL, disgusting. They're mad as hell. It's hilarious. Bro, I mean, PJ Grant is already kind of like this. I mean, we did that this offseason. He was one of the people that was in my free agent video. I'm like, oh, okay, we can go get Grant. So, I mean, it was kind of like this anyway. Then you throw in Seth Curry and a first. I mean, we fleeced. And then when it comes to the OKC trade, I mean, for Broken Gordon Hayward, who was expiring.
That was the fleece to me. I mean, to OKC, I know it's not, it probably don't mean that much to them because, you know, whatever.
Them, Trey Man was expendable. They were a good, deep team.
Right.
So it's like, you know, somebody at the end of the day had to be on the bench. It is what it is.
Exactly.
But, man, he looks like a fucking dog. Like, he might be the solution. I mean, the thing is, he's 6'3", like Terry Rozier, but he's not necessarily a score first only guard. He loves to pass the ball, which surprised me. He's a great rebounding guard. He's a great rebounding guard. And I mean, Terry was pretty good rebounding guard too. But I mean, Trey Man's defense. I mean, and Terry could play when he wanted to. You know, next thing you know, you look at the scores, you know, at the box score. Damn, Terry had 4 or 5 steals tonight. Like, you know, every now and then he'll do that. Trey Man, it doesn't even matter if he's getting the steals, bro. He switches. He's a junkyard dog. He seems to have that mentality. Now, as far as him being vocal, I don't know. He seems to be pretty quiet and tame and calm. But like, I love his game. I love it. And Mitch is just like, yo, we just got a free little Luka Doncic. Like, oh no, that first game was crazy because I was at that game.
That first game was crazy.
So I was at that. Who did we play? Was that the Grizzlies? That was the Grizzlies.
That was the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I was at that first Grizzlies game. And I'm just like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like, who is this, bro? Like, yo, we really fleeced. And I mean, obviously, I didn't expect that to continue. And it's going to be interesting to see what the team looks like when LaMelo comes back, which hopefully he does. But I think he's going to be a great backup point guard. He's still only 30. It isn't like his game is based off of athleticism anyway. So, I mean, I'm not really too worried about his age. He has the leadership, even though it's in Europe. I mean, you're a EuroLeague MVP, bro. That commands respect. You know, I'm sure Luka Doncic knows who he is. And I mean, him and LaMelo, it's like they played against one another at some point in time. So I'm happy about the trade. And I mean, Bertans, I mean, he's cooked the Hornets so many times over the years. It's like, hey, fuck it, welcome to the locker room. I don't really care. I don't know if I don't think he's gonna be too much of a long-term piece, but he's viable for this season, which is really all I care about. He's not a G leaguer. So hey, welcome to the team. You know, like, I'm so happy with this trade, bro. I really have little to no complaints. Like, you can't complain. I hate that, you know, we weren't able to get at least a second or something for Kyle Lowry or whatever. But it's like outside of that, I have no complaints. We robbed him. I'm happy. Is I don't know what.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. I mean,
You know what's crazy though? This entire thing, not only were we able to get rotational guys for the future here, we got 2 first-round picks in the same
we're gonna
draft.
have three 2027 first round. And then I looked. That is now I don't know if it's gonna happen, but that's the first year with the Mavs could be without Luka because this deal ends 2026. So 2027, they may not have Luka. I mean, I'm going to assume he resigns, but it's just something to. So next time you see a tweet that says Luka's unhappy, maybe it might mean a little more.
I mean, as far as the Heat too, because by 2027, how old is Jimmy Butler now? He's mid-30s.
Yeah, they don't have much longer either.
Yeah, so
I mean, it's the Heat. They know how to retool.
Yeah, they know how to retool. But every team goes through it, man.
Mm-hmm.
My headphone, my AirPods just died. So if I sound different or anything, please let me know. But yeah, man, I don't know the protections on that Heat one because I think the Mavs one is top 2 protected, right?
The Miami pick is lottery protected, and if it conveys to the next year,
2028 is unprotected.
And then the Mavs is a top 2 protected.
Yeah, top 2 protected. Yeah, so it's like as far as the Heat go, I'm thinking about them. They're probably going to be trash too. I mean, because Jimmy's going to be old and washed. He's probably going to be moved on by then. I mean, people are already talking about that now. Like, we need to trade Jimmy and do right by him. Like, what the fuck y'all talking about, bro? Who do you think he is? But anyway, I mean, they don't seem committed to Hero, and he's the only other young talented people besides Bam. And it's like,
and Bam's he's a good player for a good team, but he's not this is my team type player.
He wasn't a real all-star starter, bro. That was a fluke. So it's like if Jimmy dips, they end up trading Hero. I mean, at the end of the day, I can see Bam just leaving, and then the team is just in a rebuild mode. Yeah. So, hey, feed our family. Hey, stuff can change real fast, man. Here's all we gotta do. Draft Bronny. LeBron comes.
No.
Curry comes.
Just get the whole team.
We can feed our family after that. No. Everything's different. No. Stuff can happen real fast. Next thing you know, we got money. And then once they leave, we still got 2027 picks. Anything is possible, man. I still think we should draft Bronny though. Like, I don't care.
I actually do. I don't want to draft Bronny high. But I do actually want to draft Bronny.
I'm not drafting Teo Maladon, bro. I'm not.
Bronny's actually, to me, he's actually good at defense, though. I agree. I'll give it to you. His offense is kind of his shooting's kind of but I like his defense.
But the thing you got to realize, bro, he had a heart attack a few months ago. And he's a freshman on a garbage team. They're trash. USC.
They are trash.
They're terrible.
They're
so
trash.
I mean, like he's on a minutes restriction, so it's like you get him around other NBA players. I mean, I'm not worried about his defense. He is 6'3" though, so it's like he has to be a point guard.
He's gonna stay another year.
Yeah, I honestly think he should.
Yeah,
but
probably.
I need the LeBron legacy to be complete, so I need Brian to be on the court with his dad, bro. I need that for the prophecy. So I really don't care what really happens. I need him out there so we can draft him and LeBron can come. That's what I need.
Prophecy is crazy.
It is, bro. I'm not a LeBron stan or anything, but it's like, bro, we've never seen a son and a dad on the court at the same time. We have to.
I'm more in for the storyline than anything.
Right, I have to see that happen, bro. So I can tell my kids, LeBron's really to go. He played with his son. Like, I don't know. I need that. To fit my narrative.
I need that. But yeah, I mean, the trade deadline. I mean, this is the best. This might be the best trade deadline. I haven't looked at past trade deadlines, like as far as
we ain't do shit.
But I was gonna say I think this might be the best trade deadline, definitely in recent memory. But I might want to go on the record and say ever for us.
Ever, bro.
But because it's just what we got for what we gave up is insane. I mean, the fact that we got players who actually can play basketball for guys who I'm not saying they're trash. Like, I don't think I've said before. I thought PJ, once he left Charlotte, I thought that I was like, we're going to see a better version of PJ. Now I don't know I don't think Dallas was it for him, but it had to be the right fit. I don't even think Dallas for what because you were talking about it earlier how Grant and PJ are kind of like here. I don't think those type of players should be on Dallas. I don't think that's what Dallas should be looking for. And they basically replaced Grant Williams with another Grant Williams. So I think that like even then that's not a good
And
fit.
PJ does not have the motor of Grant Williams, the grit. And I mean the thing about PJ, I don't know what the Mavs were watching on him because they were interested in him from the summertime. I mean, to me, PJ has always been the exact player that he was when we drafted him.
Yeah,
He's streaky. He's streaky. He might have 20. He might have 6 points. That's how he ends up averaging around 12 or 13 because he has the highs, he has the lows.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, no other aspect of his game changed. Nothing.
I would say he got worse on defense. At least
he's the exact same player as rookie year. And part of that, you can kind of say his role constantly changed. What player was he supposed to be? It's hard as a young player to kind of get a foothold in NBA when your role's constantly changing.
Yeah.
It's certain things that you could attribute to it, but it's like I never looked at him. It was like he has all-star potential. No. I didn't even want us to draft him because I felt like he was too similar to Miles. And I know Miles is more of a 3-4, and like PJ is more of a modern 4-5. But to me, it was too close of an overlap. It was back-to-back drafts.
That early in our rebuild, I agree because we didn't have anybody.
So to me,
I got a question for y'all. Yeah. So I wasn't watching during the KD era, so all these drafts before, I really don't know a ton. So when you say you didn't want us to draft PJ, who was on the board there that you might have wanted?
Now I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Now the replacement, it doesn't really matter. But I was adamant.
That's fair.
About Bol, bro. I was adamant.
Bol.
Bro, at the time,
in Bol's draft, everybody was like, it was like once draft night ended, everybody was like tweeting and writing articles. You're gonna because I think the Nuggets got him. And everybody was like, "You're going to regret skipping out on because before Bobo hurt his foot, he was like a top 5.
He was hooper.
He was a top 5 pick.
Like we picked 11, 12, and he dropped.
Yeah, 12.
And I wanted Bobo. Was that the Michael Porter Jr. draft or no?
Yes,
I think so.
Yes, I wanted Michael Porter. I wanted Michael Porter Jr. or Bobo because to me, I feel like the Hornets need to take a swing at the point where we were at, because that was. Okay, Kimball was gone.
Oh, no, it wasn't Michael Porter. It was Cameron Johnson, Cam Reddish, Tyler Hero, those guys.
Okay, well, yeah. I don't know. I wanted Bobo. I definitely remember wanting Bobo. So in the end, it didn't really matter. But regardless, the fit with PJ and Miles, I never understood the fit long term. At the end of the day, I felt like they were too similar. They're literally the exact same height. They're both 6'6". I mean. And now Miles more of a slasher, but I mean, like I said, long term, I never saw the fit. I really felt like at that point we need to go center because it took years. That's the biggest, and that's another thing that I will put on Mitch Kupchak. It took him years to address the center position. When at one point that was our only problem. I mean, at one point as a Hornets fan, you're like, "Yo, if we get center, we'll be good."
That was the only issue.
We never did it. We never did it at all. We never did it. We were like, "Yo, Cody Zeller, he's the longest tenured guy on our team. This is it." And that
this how bad the center position was. We got Dwight Howard, and it actually wasn't that bad. It was like, dude, if we just got a real center, because by that point Dwight was almost out. It was like, dude, if we get a true center, we would be straight because Dwight Howard was putting up 20 games.
No. Dwight was hooping. And I mean, for him, it wasn't even really a performance thing. I mean, he still went to the Lakers and helped them.
Yeah. I think it was later. What we were asking him to do compared to what they asked him to do.
At the thing with Dwight, though, he was still in that, like, I'm still kind of Dwight. I want the ball and I want to bat people down. And then I really heard it was something between him and Malik Monk. He was a bad influence on Malik Monk. With partying and doing all types of stuff to where they were like, all right, bro, you got to go because Malik was already kind of, I guess, so they were like, yeah, that's really why he got shipped out. That's really what I heard when it came to Dwight Howard. But yeah, man, I'm really trying to think about that draft. But all I remember is that I did not want PJ Washington.
Tyler Hero I mean, this draft wasn't that good. I do remember wanting Nazir Little.
As a Carolina fan, I wanted him too.
I wanted Nazir Little
for the most part.
And I remember wanting Brandon Clark too.
God, I'm hearing some names where I'm like, thank Jesus.
Brandon Clark is good though. He just
He
hurt
just
for the
hurt.
Grizzlies right now. But Brandon Clark was good. Yeah, I remember one of him too. I remember one of him and what other name did you say? Nasir Little. Yeah.
Nazir
I
Little.
mean, at the end of the day, everything kind of was like, who were the centers in that draft though? Were there centers in that draft?
There weren't good like Jackson Hayes.
I liked him. I liked him. Shit.
Yeah, I liked him. Yeah, at the time. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
he hasn't worked out. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Last thing on the trade deadline. Something I didn't say. Two things. I love now that we went from no backup point guard to now two really good caliber backups. I believe Man can actually, he will continue to develop, and he might be like a 6-man, possibly a starter. I'm not too sure how that's going to work, but we will see in the future. And Micic he's my favorite player from that trade. I mean, just what he does, his passes is stuff like, I'm in the backyard with my pops when he was like 45, and he would like throw these last second dishes, no looks, and I'm like, oh my Lord, you're the exact person I wanted for so long. I can't wait.
That
I can't
one play.
wait.
Well, it was again. What was the last time we played? Hawks, where he literally was like about to shoot it
that far from the ground, and then he's like,
yeah, he just passes it.
I love it,
dude. Oh my god.
So I love that, and honestly, this is the biggest thing because Mark got a lot of crap that I felt like he didn't deserve this year, because at the end of the day, he's putting up 12 and 10. All right, let's call it for what it is. He's averaging a double-double as a first-time starter, not even playing 82 games, right?
People were just crying about Duran, bro. That's what really all that shit.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where in basketball, I don't think it has anything to do with the basketball itself.
Yeah.
What I think it is, and I think when it comes to team, because I'm all about team rebounding, it's not about your center. Like, yeah, it's important for your center to be powerful, to box out, and those are things that he needs to improve on, 100%. But at the end of the day, when he's touching the ball and he's the only guy inside, and PJ Washington is sitting there and watches the ball touch his freaking hands and watches it hit the ground, and then the center picks up the ball and dunks it, but then Mark gets blamed for it, that upsets me, because it's team rebounding. That anyone who's played basketball, you guys know that it is about all of us boxing out and getting loose balls. And the biggest thing here is Grant Williams, and most importantly, Trey Mann. These are guys who are going to get rebounds. Trey Mann is one of the best guard rebounders in the league. I think once he elevates and gets more minutes, he's going to be one of the best rebounders guard rebounders, and definitely one of the best on our team. So all that's going to help Mark, and Mark's going to be more impactful, I think, all around. But anyways, I'll go ahead and move on. Expectations on the rest of the year. And this is pretty interesting here, because there's a chance that this could hurt us. And I'll explain here. If you look at the standings, the Toronto Raptors are actually only have 19 wins this year. They've been going on a huge losing streak. They got pummeled by the Spurs earlier, a couple weeks, I think last week. They're a really bad team here. And the Hornets are at 13 wins. So we got another 28 games. I think there's a high. I think it's pretty high that we pass Toronto here coming up at the later stages. And also Memphis, another team with about 18, 19 wins this year. So I say that because that could hurt draft positioning. And I feel like this is a draft, although there are players in here that I think are going to be good. Sar, Topic, the French dude. I'm not going to try to say his name.
Oh, Zachary. I don't know how
Holland.
to pronounce his last name.
Yeah,
But
yeah. There's a ton of guys here, but I feel like in the later lottery, I think it's going to be like the 2021 draft, the Scotty Barnes draft, where it was like the high picks, right, are good players, but then when you start to get to the Obi Toppins and all these other dudes, those aren't really the players we want. So that's my biggest scare going forward because I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna go half and half. I think we have a chance to go 500 down this later stretch. Go ahead, Buzz Boys.
Um, honestly, I'm somebody who I'm not like freaking out about the standings too much because I mean at the end of the day, the lottery with the new odds now, I mean it's not like the worst team is gonna get the first second. I mean we had the eighth odds and we ended up with LaMelo at third. Not to say we're gonna jump up. I think that was our first time making like a jump like that since like 1990 something or
Yeah,
80 something. So I mean
our luck with those balls.
not harping on that. But I mean, I'm not too freaked out about it. We're pretty far back, and I mean, now you wouldn't want to get caught in no man's land where like we don't make the
Yes.
play in and we don't end up, getting a top 5 pick. But I mean, as far as the Wizards and Pistons, we're not going to catch them regardless because they're too garbage. Um, and I don't think we're going to catch the Spurs either. So that already puts us at 4. So it's like the Trailblazers, and they have 15 wins. We're at 13 right now. They can go either way. And the Grizzlies are at 20, so they got a little bit of a gap. Um, but honestly, I just want to see us compete. I'd rather us just go out there, compete, and not have to worry about any other narratives. I want to see a good brand of basketball because it will carry over. At this point, the Hornets, I'm more concerned about culture than anything.
Yes.
New ownership is too many variables now where it's like for me to be worried about a pick. I'm not gonna lie. I need an instilled culture because we have a lot of young guys and now we have vets and we need culture right now so we can sustain to where when we have more young players coming in, we don't have to worry about their off the court behavior or anything else. We need to become a whole new brand of Charlotte Hornets basketball. So if we can have a good ending to the season on a high note, I'll take that and whatever comes with it. Because I don't think it's going to be that detrimental when we end up with the 11th pick like always. No, we're still going to be top 7, top 8, regardless in my eyes. And anything happen, we can still jump up. So I like to see us just try to win as much as possible, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, and to your point, like for me, this is like I feel like this is the part I love the most, honestly, about the basketball season. Don't tell anybody, but the draft is my favorite part, and part of that has been because I've been a Hornets fan. So you always have to pay attention to the draft. You guys see who you're getting, and in this draft, everything you said about this draft being similar to like that Obi Toppin draft, I get it. However, if the Hornets just stay top 8, 9 or bottom 8, 9, I think they'll be fine. Because in that range, yes, there's tiers of players, but all of those guys can do things that the Hornets could use. Whether that's Reed Shepard, who can shoot, or all the way to if you get to Stephon Castle at UConn, who is like a combo guard. And yeah, I feel like now we have a lot of guards, but I mean, it is what it is. I'd rather have all these reliable guards than have none, especially considering there's things with Cody going on. As far as we don't know, we don't know the future.
So let me ask this. All right, it's kind of a 2-part question, and we're getting close to kind of an hour, so I don't know if we can restart or anything. I don't know, but 2 questions. One, if we focus in on the draft, what position do you think is of the utmost importance now? For the last few years, it's kind of been just go best player available and figure the rest out. Do you feel like now we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, we can kind of start pinpointing, we need this position to kind of, and it's still positionless basketball pretty much at the end of the day. But how do y'all feel about that? And also, how do y'all feel about the possibility of trading the pick? Do you feel like we're close enough to where this draft is not even that deep to the point where it's like, we could maybe use this as an asset, considering that we have the cap space. If we really want to get serious and these new owners are aggressive, we could say, you know what, instead of trying to find a star and we're trying to add 3 or 4 more years to this development, let's go out and get our guy. Because the salary cap this season, it's getting serious now. They got that,
Yeah.
that apron where a lot of teams are not going to want to get anywhere near it. The penalties are severe this year. It's changing. So this could be the year where you dangle some picks out there. We got these assets now. We haven't had the, it's a different offseason now.
Mhm.
So we have these assets where we could, really say, hey, that's our guy. Like, I mean, I'm curious about Brandon Ingram. I don't know. I just feel like he could be our guy. I don't know.
So that's what I was gonna. So yeah, that's a good point. For me, it depends on. I need them to have a plan.
Right.
I'm
what
actually,
do y'all want to do? What do y'all want to do?
For me, I think it's tough because it's only been 3 games after the trade deadline. So part of me won't say just keep the pick, but I do get wanting to take the extra leap. I think it'll be easier to pick once the season's over and once we kind of see what everybody's going. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit about what Trey Mann's going to do because I feel like that's going to play a big point because if Trey Mann shows he can be a starting shooting guard, then it kind of alleviates a lot because then we get Brandon Ingram, what happens? Now, Brandon Miller can work on his handles a little bit, maybe be better at the 2 position, over the course of a summer, knowing he's going to play the 2. But, I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I think once the season ends, I think we'll get a better idea. But I personally would rather kind of go for it, but I need to know that we have what
are we doing
what it
and
takes to
who's
go
our
for
guy?
it, like trade for somebody, whoever that may be. But what you also don't want them. I don't want the owners to feel pressure in doing so because like for example, the Phoenix Suns new owner, he went and got Katie and then got Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's always hurt. And I mean, that's really it. Bradley Beal's always hurt. You don't really have any depth, and your center position is kind of out of whack. So I don't want that, but I don't want them also to be like, oh, we see that everybody loves that trade deadline. We don't have to do anything else. So we have to keep that. But I would rather them see. I would rather see the team kind of go in the direction of okay, we've had enough young players. Let's focus on winning. Because our 3 best players, however you want to put it, they're all under 25. I mean,
exactly.
And then I think Miles is like 26, so that's still young. So
I think he's still 25, maybe.
He might be, yeah. So that's kind of my that's my reasoning for wanting to trade for somebody. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm not going to be mad either way. But to your point about if we do draft, then I think we are at a point that they should identify a position in need and pick it. Center, unfortunately, is not one. There's not too many great centers here that's going to change the needle. I know for me, I feel like our center position is redundant. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's redundant. I think
I just want a center that can spread the floor.
Right. I like Colligan. What?
Oh, from UConn? Is it UConn?
UConn, yes.
He's good. Yeah, I like him too.
A lot of length.
I'm not too big on the college, except for like the top guys I know. If they're honestly not playing UNC or they're not like a national star, I don't know who they are. I'm not gonna lie. I'm casual when it comes to college unless it's my team. So I'll believe that.
I am too.
I know Dalton. I know Dalton Connect. I know Rob Dillingham at Kentucky. I know Eddie at what is he playing for Purdue?
You know everybody.
I mean, I know like a few guys. So
but
I mean,
Cleveland's good.
I don't know.
Yeah, Cleveland for Kentucky. I mean, not Kentucky, for UConn's good. He will take a shot out there, but that's not like his thing. But I do agree with you. I think we need if anything, if we could pick the perfect player, it would be someone with size that can shoot. Because I want to say off the top of my head, well, actually Bertans, but let's just assume Bertans not going to be here next season just because of that money.
Yeah.
Miles Bridges might be our tallest player. Well, is LaMelo taller than Miles?
Yeah. LaMelo's what?
Yeah, he's 6'7", right?
6'7", yeah.
So LaMelo's our tallest player that can shoot, which is that's not a good thing.
I think the most important thing, really, look, go back and look at our history with making trades or going out and making marquee free agent signings. I want to just kind of go down memory lane because I've been playing a lot of 2K15. Yeah. Old game, yeah. I've been absolutely loving it, right? So I'm over here, and we're a damn playoff team on my career, right? We got Lance Stevenson. Do you guys remember that signing after Indiana and how I thought that was going to elevate us in that era? Maybe we could have made a push there, but that was awful. Like that didn't even last a year.
I mean,
Nicholas Batum, a couple good seasons, but then that has held down this franchise for so many years afterwards. So I'm afraid to go out and say, hey, let's trade away this pick for I'll throw some out there. Zach LaVine. Right.
Oh yeah, no. No matter what we do, draft, trade, the right move is the ultimate thing. I don't feel like this team has to do something just to do it. I don't feel like that. And that's how I felt even at this deadline. Don't trade some shit just to trade it. Don't take on bad money just to be like, hey, look who we got. No.
So
that's not what I'm saying.
Would be, who would that be? Because personally, I don't think it's an all-star. I don't think it's a DeJounte Murray. When that was a conversation, I was fully against that because I don't think DeJounte Murray is the type of player that he was in San Antonio. Because you watch the series against Boston. Who won that series? Was DeJounte out there being consistent, going out there in late game situations, making buckets? What was the reason they won those games? Because of Trae Young. So I don't think DeJounte, his archetype is the guy you need. You need a player who's able to play off ball, who can at times take lead guard responsibilities on defense. Those are the type of guy that I'm looking for. A guy who's not high usage, a guy who can give me 12 points a game as a starter and play really good defense and shoot sub 38, 40% from three. So my answer would be keeping the pick because I like Cody Williams out of Colorado.
Yeah, I was gonna say if Cody Williams, Cody Williams is one of those ones.
Cody Williams,
Sar,
what's his name? Buzelis, G League Ignite. I like those three.
Yes.
Oh, Matis Buzelis, I like him too. Yeah.
I like Sar. Sar's number one on my board. My problem is Sar. At times when I watch him, you gotta watch. You watch the highlights and it's great, but you also gotta watch like full possessions. Mm-hmm. And I swear to God, sometimes I feel like I'm watching Kai Jones. Like the way he moves, his spin moves, just his aura just gives me Kai Jones the way he moves on the basketball court. So I'm kind of scared there, but I think he'll be good. So just take the best player, make the right decision. Don't overpay. Don't make a situation that's going to stop the trajectory of your team. All right. You guys want to go ahead and move on to something else?
I would just like to add one thing. So I feel like the thing with Lance Stevenson and with Nicholas Batum is that the Hornets were trying to catch someone before they were hot. They're like, we're going to buy low, and then they're going to when they're going to get on our team, they're going to blow up. And because Lance Stevenson just had like that great where every playoff, if someone holds LeBron under 30, they're the LeBron stopper. So he was being called a LeBron stopper. So they're like, oh, let's get in early, and then he'll blow up and be this player. I think if they do trade for a specific player, it needs to be someone that is established in doing the role that they need them to do. So don't pick, so like to your point, DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is established to me, but he's not established doing what we would need him to do.
Yes.
So it's like DeJounte Murray, I think it would be fine. It's just that's not what we need him to do. Don't trade for someone. And same with the draft. You can put this logic to the draft. Don't draft anyone and say, okay, well, we see you doing, we saw you do this all year at college, overseas, wherever you are, but we want you to do this. Don't do that either. If just pick someone, and they kind of did that with Brandon Miller this year. Just pick someone and then make them do that. Especially it's their first year. Watch how to make them do something completely different that they've never done. Just get them for what they're good for. If a rookie can do what they were advertised to do when you first draft them, that's a good rookie in my opinion. Like for example, I mean, we've talked a lot about the Heat. Jaime Jaquez, the Heat don't need him to do anything crazy. We just need you to kind of be like a glue piece, just kind of be kind of the gateway between our bench to our starters, to our young players, to our old players. Just be that, and he has done that, and it's worked out for him. Just
JJ Muse is about to get on you, man.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Because he's going to say he's the best player of all time. But it's like That's what the Hornets need to do, whether it's a trade or whether they use the pick. Just whoever you get, just get them to get someone that fits what you want them to do. We need to stop trying to get people and do different things. Like what in the summer league, we were trying to put Kai at small forward or what was it? It was something like
point forward.
Right. It was like
Giannis stuff. Like, man, I don't
know. And then they were like, I'm not saying Kai Jones was good, but then they were like, yeah, he's not good. Well, you're making him play point guard.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, with the Brandon Miller thing, he did show that he could definitely be a good playmaker at Alabama, pushing the ball up the floor and making the right decision, which I think he's done here. Now, me personally, I do think Brandon can play the 2. I do think long-term he is going to be a 2-3 long-term. But to me, I feel like if the Hornets are going to kind of stay on the path that we are, we're trying to be a team that can switch everything, get out and run. To me, the 2 names that I've just been kind of focused on for free agency, Pascal Siakam. Now, I don't know if we have the money to do Miles and Pascal. It's going to be tough. But if you do that, you can put him at the 3 or at the 4, Miles at the 3. Then Brandon could be your 2. And, long term, he could do it.
I would say it does alleviate. Because my thing with Brandon, the only reason I don't like him at the 2 is his dribbling. But you have Miles, you have Melo, you have Pascal, who all can put the ball on the floor in their own way. It's not the perfect one, but if we were to move Brandon to the 2, we would need to that 4 or whoever, or whoever goes around Miles Bridges needs to be able to put the ball on the floor too. It would need catch and shoot guy. It has to be someone that can.
And the thing with the whole Brand the 2 thing, I know some people are kind of skeptical about it, but we've yet to even see him really play with LaMelo at the 1. Yeah. We've yet to really see that. It's easy to say, oh, man, he can't play the 2. Yeah, because he had Taylor Maladon and Ish Smith out there running a fucking 3-guard lineup. Yeah, there's no spacing. Hell no. That's why, it kind of goes back to what we were saying at the very beginning. I don't want to judge too much off this season saying what somebody can do, can't do, what this team should be doing and can't be doing, because half the time the team was a borderline G League team anyway. So it's hard to evaluate when you look at the pieces around. What are we supposed to think? It's hard. So that's why, and that's what I feel like last year was supposed to be. Let's get Kai out there to know what we have. Let's get Booknight out there to know what we have. Let's put these players out here so we know what we're working with going into the offseason, and that didn't happen. And now we're back at it again. Okay, what can this piece do? What can this piece do? Can they play together? We don't know again. So
yeah, I think we did find out what they had.
Yeah,
I think we found out.
Fucking trash.
It was just too late. Yeah, it was just too late.
It was too late though. It was too late.
We already kept him on a G League team and then tried to like this. Oh, that's something real quick that I didn't even think about. Our G League team has been terrible, and they were like, "Yeah, we have faith in these guys." It's like they can't compete against other G Leaguers.
I have not.
They can't compete against people that were put because in the summer league they pull people off the street, literally off the street. It's like they can't beat the guy who works next door.
They're not as bad as a 705 though.
Yeah.
That is atrocious. That is a terrible.
Yeah, I have no clue what's going on with the Greensboro Swarm. Has Amari Bailey's been playing good? I have seen that.
Yeah, he has.
Amari Bailey's been playing good, and I honestly would put him over McGowan's. I would shit, throw him out there, see what he can do.
I don't think Amari's quite. I don't know. I really don't know what the plan is with him. I
feel like he's going to get buried and
I'm scared
because he can't shoot, and so they're going to use that against him. Like, oh, he can't shoot, but it's like he's also extremely efficient from the floor, though. Yeah,
isn't he shooting like 23%?
His 3-point percentage is terrible.
Yep.
But his regular shooting percentage, I think, is good at a high usage.
Which I mean, like the level, like in terms of guards, like. Mark Williams was great in the G League, and I knew he was ready, but that it's vastly different from bigs and guards. He would get so many different looks. Mari's not going to be getting to the rim as easily. He's going to be getting different coverages, and they'll just force him out. So I don't think, I hope Amari the best, but I just don't see, if we keep all the guys here, I just don't see him finding.
The only young player that I could see cracking really with what we currently have is Nick Smith. Nick Smith Jr. McGowan, I don't see him getting real minutes going forward. And
I think Leaky has a shot.
Who?
Leaky. I think Leaky
Oh,
has a shot too. Yeah,
Leaky can have a shot at that 3-4 right now.
he's going to be kind of where he is now. He's going to be that guy to where if an injury happens, they have no problem calling him up and saying, "Hey, then they will keep him around for that."
Everything that JT Thor was supposed to be.
Right. Because JT Thor, they weren't even asking him to be special. It's like, dude, we just need you to be there when we're injured.
We chose JT over Jalen McDaniels, and he didn't replace Jalen McDaniels' production. As far as scoring, because say what you like about Jalen, he was selfish as hell. Once he's on a fast break, he's not past that shit at all. But
he isn't getting any PT.
Yeah. He's cooked. He's cooked.
Him. Is so. I'm like, we were playing him like
we were playing him, but he would still give you.
And people thought we were crazy for trading him. Like national media was like, I wouldn't have did that.
Yeah,
now he's not even playing.
But he still gave us like 10-5.
Oh, for sure. And he would hit clutch shots too.
He was solid, but
JT
his
never replaced that.
Man, dude, there were so many times in transition during that year where I was like, bro, like there's like just guard the ball, man. It was him and Kelly Oubre. Oh no, it was him on fast break opportunities. We would have 2-on-1s or 3-on-1s.
He's not passing the ball.
And he'd have the ball and he would just go straight up.
He's never passing that.
He's not gonna pass it.
I'm like, bro, use your hands, man. Like, pass it. You have the ability there. But one thing on JT, and I tell you guys this all the time, right? And I said this before the season. I made a whole video on him. All right. He is PJ Tucker without the leadership. That is what he is. All right. He doesn't get rebounds. He sits in the corner. He shoots 30%.
Make the freaking corner three, bro.
That's all PJ can shoot.
His shot is nice too. He has a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
But bro, just make one. Just one. 1 for 4. Fine. Just 1 for 4.
It's funny because he has one of the best jump shot. Is it releases or
on 2K?
On the new 2K, yeah, he has the best. Is either release or form.
My main thing with JT, and we were talking too much really about JT. We can move on to the next time. Yeah, my main thing with him really is he and Bryce have the same problem. They're so tentative when they're out there. It's like they don't want to do anything. And it's like even when we had the injuries, JT, you played 22 minutes tonight. You took 3 shots. What the hell? Then the next game, you go 4 for 7 or 4 for 8, 5 for 8. Like, okay, be aggressive, do something. The next game, 2 shot attempts in 18 minutes. And it's like, bro, if you're gonna be out there, at least try to do something. You're 6'10", you're athletic. Every now and then he'll dunk on somebody or try to dunk on somebody, and you're like, just do that, and you could be fine. But it's like he just wants to sit in the corner and just do that. And it's like it turns into 4-on-5 offense. If you're not gonna even shoot the ball, you're not a threat.
Right before the trade deadline, I think teams literally stopped guarding him. If I'm not mistaken, teams literally would just not guard him.
Yeah, so it's just.
It's the same thing because I thought Bryce McGowan was going to take a step this year, and that's
sometimes really he just looks scared.
That was my biggest.
Got him in his place in the first place.
That was my biggest disappointment this year. I thought he was going to take a step and be more consistent. And really, it's about his defense and everything, just staying engaged. But he's just not a fully engaged player at all times.
Did y'all see him working out with PJ yesterday?
No, I didn't see that.
Bryce McGowan was working out with PJ. I don't know where they were at, but like it was like, see, this is why. This is why right here,
bro. Get out of my city. Get out of my city, man. How dare you?
I don't know where they were at. It might have been like somewhere in Indiana or something. I don't know. But yeah.
It was probably Dallas.
It could have been. But yeah. Bryce and PJ were working out yesterday on Instagram.
All right. Well, I want to touch on something. The next one we got a couple more. Hopefully we can get through it, but we're gonna try. Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, and I want to talk about this here because it's super interesting.
Oh,
man, it really is. So Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball, obviously we both know 2nd overall pick, 3rd overall pick. This is our franchise cornerstones. But I think what's very interesting here is this is something that Charlotte has not had the opportunity to have since that logo that Trust the Buzz is wearing, right? Since the 90s, we haven't had this type of opportunity. And I just want to dive into this and get your guys' thoughts. I think this is the best duo potentially since Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning. And I say this because I've already seen it from Brandon. Okay, I know this kid is going to be not only an all-star, I think he's going to has a potential to be a 2-3-time all NBA performer. And also I've seen that this year from LaMelo Ball of being a second team, possibly a first team all NBA performer if he's able to stay healthy. So when you have those two guys on your team, you can subsequently build around those skill sets a lot better from compared to the major one, which really these were supposed to be the two cornerstones in the Kemba era. It was Kemba Walker and Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Obviously, Michael Kidd Gilchrist never took that step, and Al Jefferson was amazing. But if we could have got him the Utah, like those 2 years in Utah with Kemba, maybe we could have cooked something up. But here nor there, Kemba never had a number two. Let's be honest, he never had that guy who can be on two sides of the ball, who can shoot, where the spacing. I mean, if you go back and you watch 2015, 2016
bro
season,
had Courtney Lee,
which I do. The biggest issue,
Jeremy Lamb,
problem with those teams was Michael Kidd Gilchrist. Did you see the coverages that Kemba had to deal with? He would be on the court, and it was literally the entire, like, there was no one anywhere close to him. So the fact that we were able to win 48 games with that playing over like 24, 25 minutes is insane. Anyways, back to LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. I think this is a cornerstone piece that I think can bring us our first playoff victory since 2002? Is that how long it's been?
Yeah, I
like
know
30
Gerald Wallace
years?
was here, so yeah, it had to be something.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but I think it's more easier to build around these two than it was the Kemba and the Geralds. And yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go because I feel like I'm rambling. But go ahead.
No, I do have a quick question. Darren, can we extend this like when it gets to the hour and a half? Because I don't remember last time what really happened. When we get to the end, like, is it going to give you options to keep going, or like it's just like clipped, or like can we keep going and then like group them together or something like that? Like, I don't even know. But
okay, no, I think it's just gonna turn off. But I'm trying not to click nothing and then turn it off.
Yeah,
but I think we're good. I'll let you know if anything pops up on my
so
end.
I would just say just treat it as if we could keep going, but we'll see. But to me, honestly, I think this is by far the most hope and the most sense of direction that the Hornets have had, and I would honestly say the last 10 years. Because even with that 2015 team, I mean, we ended up being an 8th seed, but we were better than that. Like I think the 3 seed and the 8th seed, like all the way down, like 3 seed, like it was literally like a point game, point half difference, and everybody
That
kind of
was a
tied.
48 win team and was an 8th seed.
Yeah. It was
that
all
is crazy.
Like, yeah. We were 8th, or we were like 3 and 6 or something like that. I think we were like battling for that 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it was a tie between that. But anyway, I digress. I think now we have this direction to where it's like the sky's the limit. We've seen these other teams rebuild. Look at the Sacramento Kings. Garbage for the last 2 decades. Now all of a sudden they're at the top of their conference. Look at OKC. The time is now to where it's like you get these cornerstones and you do right by them. We've seen that it can lead to success, especially as these veteran-led teams break down, dynasties in, and I mean it's always a change of the guard in the NBA every few years. So the time is coming for the Hornets if we do it right. And to me, Brandon and LaMelo are definitely the cornerstones. I'm not one of those people. I mean, and it's sad that Hornets Twitter has come to this, but I just constantly see debates. Brandon's the face, LaMelo's the face, bro. this is where it's like we don't even know we're blessed with. We've been too impoverished to even imagine this. Yo, we have
Yeah.
two cornerstone players. Y'all
Just
worried
be
about the wrong
happy.
shit, bro. Y'all trying to put them against each other. They're here. They're
Yeah.
gonna feed our family and take us to the promised land. Yo, worried about the
You
wrong
know what's the funny
shit.
part? There's specific, and I'm not gonna say who, but there's specific people who, at this point, do it just to make people mad, and the fact that they can't see
Hey,
that is
that's what
hilarious.
I do. I do that.
Like,
Look,
it's
the only
people
reason,
it's people who say like, we know what we're talking about, we know ball, this, that, and the other. Fine, that's cool. I'm all by any means. But if you can't tell that someone's trolling you, like,
yes,
dude,
yes.
like that's a prop, because like there's people who will literally, like you said, they will literally just say out of nowhere, Brandon Miller is better than LaMelo, but they not even. It's like, dude, do you not? They have 10 tweets talking about how LaMelo's a cornerstone, LaMelo's a cornerstone. They make one saying Brandon Miller is the best just to mess with you, and that's what you
Yes,
fall.
I
It
yes.
mean,
works every time.
me
Engagement
It
numbers got
does.
to
personally,
be
It
through the
does.
roof.
It
me
does.
personally, do I think that it could end up being Brandon's team? Yeah, it could. It could. It could end up being Brandon's team because we've seen in the NBA that forward gets you there.
Yes.
You have that forward that can clamp down
It's a
on
winning
defense
league for
and
sure.
come down and score. I mean, that Kawhi S, that P, and everybody
Yeah.
loves PG, but he's never fucking won shit. But that PGS, like, it is very important in the NBA. And LaMelo is injury prone. So hey, I mean, I have no problem, saying, hey, Brandon, this is your team. I don't care. We're blessed. We're blessed. We have a actual core of young talent that has shown that they can do something. Like, bro, y'all worried about the wrong stuff. This
Yeah.
is the best situation that the Hornets have been in a long time. We focus on the wrong stuff because we just not used to it. Well, some people did not. They just don't know how to even fathom the fact that, like, we don't have to be against each other, man. Everything's gonna be okay.
And what's
The
even
dark
crazier
days are
is like,
over.
on the court, their skill set. It's like, dude, one of LaMelo's best attributes is his ability to pass. So it's just like, do you really think? Some people, because I one time was like, I feel like LaMelo wants to be like the floor general. He wants to score, but he's always looking to
He
make the extra
enjoyed
pass.
getting his teammates
Always,
involved.
I see it. And yes, I remember when I said that, they were like, "You're stupid." LaMelo always says he wants to score. I'm like, of course he wants to score, but that's not what I was saying. I'm not saying he's going to get 20 assists and 3 points. I was just saying that 10 assists is pass considered. No matter how many points you score, if you get 10 assists, that's considered passing a lot. So these two guys, they work together perfect, almost seamlessly,
And
because
they haven't
they
even
both can
gotten
play
the
off each other. They
experience
both can run the
together.
offense on their own. It's crazy that they're having that conversation.
I
And now,
think for me, again, sometimes you'll see me post Brandon Miller is the franchise player or whatever. Look, it's just trolling the Mellow stands. That's all it is. It's honestly the funniest thing to ever to make that post, and then you have 12 of them just losing their marbles, like the Mellow Hive guy. I when Mellow got hurt, like past week, and fans were like, what the heck, da, 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 or whatever during that little stretch. He had like 20 of them. It was flooding my timeline. I had to mute him. I was like, dude, please, I'm not against them, but Lord, you're really making me not like them. And I love them. I'm not gonna let no fans get in the way of that. But I think Melo is an amazing player. I think he's going to continue to average 24, 25 points per game. But once Brandon is ready to take that, which I think Brandon is a 25, 27 type of dude. He's more on the higher end of 20s, in my opinion. Just everything he's doing already during that stretch where he was the main focal point of the offense. Those are things that I'm looking for him to do on the regular, except in winning situations, right, with better talent. So I think Melo, once we see the peaks, I think Melo's more of like a 20 and 10, a 20 and 12 in a winning situation. I think he's more of a 2. I would love to see Melo be able to come off a to come off of pin downs on floppy plays and get wide open threes and get catch and shoot opportunities. I would like to see that a little bit more Not him doing ISOs and getting into an offhand shot. I would like to see more plays in that sense, and I think in the future that's going to be a high possibility. So these two, the sky's the limit here. It really is. And that's why it's so intriguing, because I've never experienced this as a fan of this team, where I felt like the focal point of when we talk about the best duos in the league, right? For example, I'll not exactly the duo, but a Harden PG, right? A Maxi Embiid, Tatum Brown, Murray Jokic, Dame Giannis. What do all these duos that are winning playoff games, that are having success, do? It's a guard and it's a wing or big. And that was the big issue in the draft last year, where we were talking about Scoot and we were talking about two guard tandem. Is I don't think that model works anymore. And we just saw it last year. We saw it when Atlanta traded for DeJounte. Okay. Does DeJounte at any point, is he able to run pick and pops with Trey? Is he able to go and dive to the rim for a dunk? No. And when it comes playoff time, what happens? They're stuck, and they're a first round exit. So I think this team has an opportunity to make big pushes here. Anyways, if you guys want to, any last words? We're gonna go in the Mark Williams real quick.
No, the last thing I want to say is, if they mess this up as far as like the organization, I'm not going to sit here and say they should move the team, but
don't.
A lot of people should lose their job.
Yes.
If LaMelo stays healthy, because that's one quick thing that I don't get, is that when the national media will say, like, it's looking like it could become Brandon Miller's team. As Hornets fans, we watch the games. We're like, okay, well, I mean, it's LaMelo's team unless he says otherwise, or however you want to put it. But I do get, if a player is hurt all the time, if you're someone who does not watch the Hornets and their player, that's supposed to be the team player, is hurt all the time, then you can't give him that title if you're someone who does not watch the game, which I don't blame them for not watching the game. So yes, it may not be correct, but I don't get the whole, like, everybody getting so upset when the dude doesn't play. He has not played. Now, granted, I wouldn't play either. I would have been like, I said when he got hurt the first time this year, I was like, don't bring him back. And they brought him back, and then didn't work out. So
I think it's important though for him, and that's the biggest problem I think right now, and it's going to be an issue. And I think fans don't consider this as much as they should, which is building, if I can say the word right, continuity, right? Last year, we were able to see a little bit of Mark Williams and LaMelo Ball, and it looked good. It really did. But what sucked is Mark was developing without learning pick and rolls with LaMelo Ball. Okay. And that's the biggest thing that sucks, is you're not building that chemistry. You're not winning. That's fine. Okay. You're gonna look, the team sucks. All right. At the end of the day, we're not making the playoffs. All right. It's not happening. But what you can do is you can build continuity with each other, faith in each other. So then going into training camp next year, you are at a you don't have to correct so many things and maybe struggle the first half of the year. So I think that's going to be very key going forward, and that really sucks for Brandon.
Honestly, I'm high. I'm high going into next year, man. It really all just depends on LaMelo. Now, let me ask y'all this: if LaMelo gets hurt again next season, are you trading him? Because I'm saying yes. If LaMelo gets hurt again next year, goodbye. I'm trading him.
I need another good season so I can get what he's worth. Because we know when he's healthy,
but
all bets are off.
But if he gets hurt next year, and I'm talking about like it's another bad, he's playing 30, 40 games, bro. You got to start looking at him like, yo, you're Ben Simmons. Now, maybe not as egregious, but it's like, dude, But we can't build around this. I'm trading him. If LaMelo gets hurt next year, I'm trading him, bro.
I need him. I need him to come back and give me another. Good. It depends on the stint.
Yeah, it depends. It depends.
Like, because if he plays like trash, then I might as well just keep him. But if he's playing how he was playing, then it's a different story.
No. I'm not even talking about his own court production because I know when LaMelo's out there, he's gonna hoop. The problem is, the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody's still posting, look what LaMelo did in November. Look at 30 and 10 games. Bro, it's fucking February, bro. It's going to be March, bro. It's over, bro.
Yeah. That part,
if it comes down to next year and it's like, dude, hold on. Oh, that shit kept going.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
I didn't say it like, oh my God. Okay, so cool. We're good. Okay, so, in my opinion, bro, it's like if LaMelo gets hurt next year, and I'm talking about, it depends what our season is. The problem with the LaMelo injury is that it keeps happening early in the season. Like, damn, we can't even get, a few games above 500 and try to sustain something to where it's like, okay, look at Sixers win Embiid. Embiid goes down, but the Sixers are already a good team, so it's like they can stay afloat and be fine. LaMelo gets hurt at the beginning of the season. It's like, damn, we can't even do anything. And it's like the season's already over. And it's fucking Thanksgiving. Like, fuck. So I don't know. I don't about that.
I think it's a little bit too soon. Look, at the end of the day, man, he has to get to the point where he's able to play 60. Like I think 60 is where my cutoff is. But if he doesn't get healthy,
65 if he wants to get them goddamn NBA
incentives.
It has to be the right player. I don't think you're gonna get the value. I would need to have like a Tyrese. There's only a couple players out there that I would say, yeah, I'm giving up. Jalen Brunson, maybe Tyrese Halliburton, maybe. But I think he's a top 8, top 5 point guard when he's healthy in the league. And that is a franchise player. And I have faith in him. I give the stand.
He's only 22 years old. It's purely hypothetical.
Yeah, he's young. But again, if Luka, you want to offer me Luka Doncic? Yeah, I will do that. But anyways, let's touch on this. I know Trust the Buzz, you made a video about this earlier in the year, and it's about Mark Williams. And this is something, when was it? November, December, somewhere around the same time of LaMelo going down. He's had this back injury. And I'll be honest, it's scary and it sucks because Mark Williams was my favorite player on this team last season. Him and DSJ, obviously, because they were awesome. And North Carolina State Wolfpack, baby. Just so y'all know, the best university in the state of North Carolina. Just so you know.
If we didn't mess around and lose to Clemson and Syracuse, I would have said something.
No.
Whatever. Yeah, we did lose. Okay, DJ Hornets dropped 30. All right.
I'd rather that than Duke. If it was Duke, I would have had to log off.
Yeah. Nah, man. UNC's for the playoff family, man. We're gonna go ahead and get RJ Davis in the second round. We'll be good.
Just get in the second round. The Hornets should always just get a bunch of UNC.
Just get a bunch of UNC.
Carolina players in general, no matter if Wake Forest or not. Just get all of them.
Yeah.
Just take them. But I'm kind of scared here for him. A little bit. Back injuries are really scary for bigs. Lower extremities. I mean, we can think about all the players. I'm not specific on any players that were really hurt by back injuries career-wise, but when I think of some of the what ifs, I'm talking about Greg Oden. I'm talking about I think Bill Walton had some issues in his career. Ralph Sampson for the Rockets. So I'm hoping this doesn't hold him back, and I'm interested to see your guys' thoughts on it, because I think Mark Williams, if he can stay healthy, is a core piece of
Oh yeah,
this
for sure,
franchise going forward.
for sure. Honestly, for me, I'm not too concerned right now. Now with this current medical staff, it is like, I don't know, but I feel like at this point he's probably got some third opinions, and it seems like we haven't ruled him out. To me, I wouldn't really expect to see him maybe the last few games of the year if he's 100%. Um, I think Mitch came out and already said, like it's not bad. It's more of a procedural thing. Like, let's not rush him back to no real reason to, he's going to be 100% healthy. That's kind of what Mitch said. So, I mean, in my eyes, I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. I feel like if it was that bad, he would have had surgery by now. Now, one thing that I'm hoping, the only thing that scares me is that our medical team is being negligent. He does need surgery. We're delaying the surgery. And then he doesn't get surgery until like fucking April or May. And it rolls over the next season. Now he's late. He's missing training camp and he's trying to get caught up. And that would piss me off because like we've had months and months and months to just all right, he's shut down, he's having surgery. He could be recovered and be 100% going into next season. So that would be the only thing that really would concern me is that if we say, oh, he doesn't need surgery, he's fine. It's just we're just playing the waiting game, being safe, and then it turns out, oh yeah, it's actually worse than we thought. He does need surgery. That would really piss me off, and it would concern me, but not necessarily for him, for our medical team, because it needs it needs to be gone. It needs to be a complete overhaul because they're
Yeah.
terrible. They're worse. They're worse than the NBA, and it definitely concerns me with anything with this team because it's like a sprained ankle somehow turns into something else, and it always
Yeah.
seems a snowball when it comes to this team and injuries. And I mean, um, I think the
I don't
ownership
really
group talked about
understand
that.
why though. I don't. I believe the staff was a part of the Oklahoma City Thunder during the KD era, and that they were viewed as that staff was viewed as one of the best in the league for a long time. And I really don't understand what what's going
I
on
think it's
there.
the Jordan
Yeah.
regime because
Yeah, Jordan's cheap. That's why we
I
lost
think
Kenny Atkinson.
right. I think if you everything from medical staff to actual coaching staff to players to front office personnel, they've all had these high accolades coming from wherever they come from. They get here and they revert back to something or they get worse. I think it's just there. I don't know what it is because I obviously I wouldn't know, but it's something that is happening in the between time because like you said, I do remember that some of the staff was from OKC and OKC was known to have a good staff at that time. Now either we didn't get those guys because I don't know the difference between who we got
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah,
who was
I
there.
can't name a single member of the medical
Right.
staff, so
So I don't
Yeah.
I don't
know,
know.
Me
maybe we
neither.
didn't get the right guys, but there's something in between that has caused that. And I don't know what it is. It could be Jordan being cheap. It could just be, you know, we need to sell tickets, so let's not try to make it seem as bad as it is. It could be a lot of things. That is probably one of the reasons why I'm not too concerned because he was hurt for like 4 or 5 games. He came back, played pretty well, and then got to the fourth quarter and then kind of I think he re-injured it or something. And I think
Mhm.
I felt as though they were like, you know what, that's it. Just shut it down. We'll play it. We'll play it week by week or month by month, however they want to do it. And I think that's just kind of where we are now. I would be pissed if they waited and then to get surgery. Um, the only thing is with that, I would rather a new staff come in and say, "Hey, he needs surgery," than if this staff told him he needs surgery. That's
Yeah,
the only like leeway I'm willing to give is that if they get a new staff sometime during the offseason and they say, "Hey, he needs surgery," it's gonna suck because it was delayed. But I feel like this staff would have told him he needed surgery and he didn't. So I would rather get a better medical staff in there. But I'm just not too worried because I feel as though a lot of it was, hey, the team's falling apart. You came back. You kind of re-aggravated it. We just don't want that to happen again. And I think this team right now, we all agree that chemistry is a huge proponent of what we need to be focused on. I do feel like this team has kind of, as an organization, has kind of been like, we're looking into next year. We just want our guys healthy for next year. We'll see what that looks like because that's what we want to see. We want to see what it looks like. Everybody healthy. LaMelo's good enough to where I don't, we can kind of just drop him in. Mark, he's just not necessarily the role he plays for the team. While big is very important, it's not like he's not like the anchor like Rudy Gobert or something like that, or the offensive, weapon that Joel or Jokic is. So he's just kind of like a piece there. So that's kind of what I'm feeling, but I don't know.
I will say with Mark Williams, I do think he has defensive player of the year potential.
Oh, for sure.
I do think that he has that Rudy Gobert anchor type potential because, I mean, we saw games where he had 3 blocks, 5 blocks. The thing with him, he'll have 3, 4 blocks. Then he'll have like 2, 3 steals. It's just like, damn. And I'm reading an article right now. This is from Mitch Kupchak's statement. He said he saw a specialist. This was last week. This is February 9th. So he saw a specialist last week, which would be like February 2nd. And he's supposed to be reevaluated in another 4 weeks. So I guess that would be like last week of February, first week of March. And he's scheduled, he does expect to make 100% return to play. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, do we try to throw him out there in April? Just, I don't know if we would do that.
I can see that. I can see once kind of like the playoff dust settles as far as the other teams, they're kind of pulling their guys back. And then they're like, all right, now we can insert you. But while teams are fighting for seeding, we don't want to put you out there, and get hurt again. So
it feels like to me, and the reason why I bring up Mark and being afraid, obviously it's because injuries are scary, but this is I know the thumb thing wasn't really that big of a deal. He's rebounded from that, but those are 2 injuries in your first 2 seasons. And again, for bigs, injuries are probably the worst thing out of all the positions that it derails so many careers. And I think Mark, we need him to be not just okay. Like I've watched enough of Mark Williams to know that he's going to be an important part of this team winning going forward. I think he really, and the biggest thing is I want to see him with this. What we have now, I want to be able to see the consistency build. That's something I talked about in my preseason outlook on these players, and people talked about Mark Williams, and everyone was like, oh yeah, he's going to be, he's going to do exactly what he was doing last year. He's going to come in, make 0 mistakes, get 4 blocks a game, 3 blocks. He's going to grab 15 rebounds, 15 points, whatever. And I was like, hold on. No, there's a big difference from coming in all-star break and starting and being looked at as the starter from day one. And I said there's going to be inconsistent play. You're going to have games where he has 15 and 15, like the first game against the Hawks. And there's going to be games where you're like, is this even an NBA starter? Right? Which happened. And then the Detroit game happened, and that was embarrassing. But you move forward. And I want to see him get consistent, because the most important thing, I don't know about y'all, but I really did not expect him to be this good offensively around the rim this year. I mean, for a good portion, he was averaging 14, 15 points per game during the start of that season.
I think he was leading. Was he leading the league in field goal percentage?
Yes,
he was.
Yep. So the thing where I was kind of excited this year for Mark was the 3-point shooting. It's something that he can do, and I think people forget that. At Duke, he could shoot. Now, he didn't shoot a lot, but he could shoot. And Steve Clifford talked about it last year. He's like, Mark can shoot the ball. We saw that Duke. He does it in practice all the time. He even hit like a game-winning 3 at the Greensboro Swarm. I think he had 2 back-to-back kind of or something like that. But Steve Clifford was like, next year we're going to see him. We're going to let him shoot the 3 a little bit more. But for his rookie year, we want him to get the fundamentals and kind of build his game inside out. So I was happy to see Mark possibly turn into somebody who could possibly spread the floor, which is what we need at the 5. But now we're losing another year of development. And we're still kind of like, can he shoot at the 3-point? I mean, at the NBA level,
Yeah.
and it's like, or is that something that we're even still going to try to implement? Because it's like, at this point, it's kind of like going to be like damn near third-year rookie in a way.
That's so disappointing, man. That's the
exactly. It's very disappointing. It's like with Nick Richards, you are who you are. We're not really too invested in trying to expand your game. But with Mark, he could shoot the ball. At Duke, he could shoot. I mean, I don't think it'll be 40%, but even just having a center who can shoot like 34, 35%, it's respectable enough to spread the floor. And I mean, imagine playing 5 out and you got guys on the wing that we have. I mean, Miles' highlights are going to be back. That's what we need.
I mean,
so
we really need that, though, because if you look next year, you're not getting a sniper. You're getting James Najee coming in here. Pretty raw prospect.
He's not even playing over there.
He's not even playing in Spain right now, which is what the hell, but whatever, Mitch. He's the same archetype of player. And this is my problem is when you look at the center position, it's the same player. And that's my problem. That was a point
too many traditional centers.
Is you have to have players who do different things. And my problem is I need Mark to start shooting threes. We're going to need him to be able to shoot 32, 34, like something. Like, I don't care. Just pull it up. I don't care if it's like 28. It can be something in there.
It can be worked on.
Yes.
He was pulling mid-ranges before he got hurt. I mean, it wasn't threes, but he would get like the long rebound. The center wouldn't come out to guard him. He would pop it. And
he can shoot the ball.
He was hitting them too.
Even that,
he can shoot the ball.
You don't got to shoot a 3. Just pop out to that mid-range and just put it in there. Just do the little 2K thing. I do it all the time on my game. My dude can't shoot the 3 ball. I got to put him inside the arc for him to be able to make it on Hall of Fame. But anyways, I digress. You guys want to move on or final?
No,
I'm good. I got things that we got 15. Well, that was 2 minutes ago. So we have till I guess it was 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good. What's next?
Roll through some couple things. Okay. I think we got 2 more. All right. This is kind of like the same thing we talked about a little bit earlier, but do you guys think this era right now will be a winning era in Charlotte? And if so, what do you think is a reasonable expectation for us to look into the future? Is this a team that could possibly win 1 round? Is this Eastern Conference type of duo, or do you think we can first NBA Finals in Charlotte Hornets history? Maybe.
Darren, you want to go?
I'll go
first. You can go first. I've been going first.
I'll go for this one so I can make people upset.
Don't do it.
I mean, it's really early, but I mean, I'll say this. I will be happy we make it to the second round. Give me that. We can worry about the rest later. As far as like, what do I see? I see, if I had to like relay it to a team in another team's success, I would say as of right now, I see it being like the Trailblazers with Dame, where some years they would go to the finals and Western Conference Finals and lose. Some years that 1 year they got surprised by the Pelicans because the Pelicans had like Drew Holiday and Rondo, which when you think about it, is a crazy backcourt. But Drew Holiday and Rondo, and then they got kicked out. I think we'll be like in that range where some years, we may be able to push the limit, but for the most part, it's kind of understood that we don't have what it takes to eventually make it to the NBA Finals. But things can change. I mean, this is literally based off none of the team playing together. This is just all what I highest hopes for everybody and not really knowing exactly what we're going to have with our bench unit, not knowing who our GM is, not knowing who our coach is going to be, all those things too.
I think the better example would be more of the core here, like the Miller and Melo. I think back like Pacers, like Paul George.
Yes,
and,
very similar to that. That's where that's kind of where I see it. But
those guys had a second round type of ceiling. So what is the ceiling?
Some years their only fault was running into LeBron. So if you give me a certain GM and a certain coach, that can move the needle for me. But as far as like what we have in our core, I think we're in that Pacer realm where we may run into I guess this time it will be Celtics. We may run it. The only reason we're not going further is because we keep running into the Celtics.
I would honestly say, I think, I mean, as far as this era, I mean, it depends on what you deem this era. What exactly are we saying? Are we saying just new ownership? Are we saying for the next 4 years while Brandon's on his rookie contract?
I took it as like next 4 years.
Next 4 years, I would honestly say, I think we could be an Eastern Conference Finals team just because, I mean, we've seen these teams make these runs. I mean, we watched the Heat do it as 8 seeds. The Hawks. I mean, I honestly feel like the East is as wide open as it's ever been and as it's going to be for the next few years. Dame's getting older. We'll see what the Bucks end up doing. I do think Giannis will leave eventually. But honestly, feel like the East is open. I mean, I feel like we're like the young Celtics. I mean, you have Jaylen Brown and the Tatum. That could be your Brandon and LaMelo to where it's like, these are all NBA guys. I mean, LaMelo's already got his max extension. So we know that. And honestly, I mean, something that we haven't really mentioned this whole time, Miles Bridges. I mean, we keep talking about duo. I mean, it's really a big three. I mean, and it depends on if Mark truly becomes a defensive player of the year type talent. I mean, never talking about big four. It's hard to write that off when we're talking about the age of these guys. LaMelo Ball is 22 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I said ladies and gentlemen, no ladies, but he's 22 years old. So, I mean, when we're talking about 4 years from now, health is included with anything in this team's future.
Yeah.
Health is everything. But if we're talking about 4 years from now, this team just is gelling more and more and more. I mean, I would say conference finals because at this point, I mean, the bench is going to be a problem. We're talking about in 4 years. I mean, those 2027 first round picks. Are we trading them? What are we doing? I mean, I think at that point, we would be able to put it together and make some runs. Yeah. But it's going to have to start next year with a playoff berth, and you build upon that. We can't keep.
Yeah, we're not going to jump from where we are now to.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie, man. You never know in the NBA, bro. Like the Kings were not in the playoffs, bro. Mm-hmm. they were not. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, oh, you have top 3 seed. Oh, all of a sudden they're a real deal team. OKC was ass, bro. You never know once you start throwing
I think a coach will help me feel better because this is kind of what I was thinking. We see how things are now because the team's used to losing. Mm-hmm. Stuff changes when everybody has expectations.
Yep.
Stuff changes when you're LaMelo and you're expecting Brandon Miller to be available for you in the fourth quarter in clutch games, and then he's not. Stuff changes when you're Miles Bridges and you're expecting LaMelo to be like the lead guard and do what LaMelo does, and he doesn't when you need him to. So we need a coach to be able to balance that, because something I see now is that we have a lot of personality, and right now it works because no one's expecting anything of anybody. But I wonder what that's going to look like later. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think it's going to be like a brother. You know how brothers fight. It's going to be one of those things. I don't think it's going to be like a Shaq and Kobe situation where someone's coming to practice calling somebody a fat slob. I don't think it's going to go that far. I think it's just like we're in this together, and we're supposed to be winning. I think it's going to be one of those type of things.
I really don't feel like it doesn't go egotistical. I really don't. I mean, I think everybody wants to win, and once that starts happening, I don't see a break coming up there. I really don't.
I think the problem is more on it's more on the guys that are not in this future. It was I think
Yeah,
Bryce was a
maybe.
little bit too much free flowing. James, he's out of there. But like I'm talking about these duos, and I think and I'm really talking about young. Like, well, I mean, Jason Tatum's not super duper young. I mean, he's going to be going into his early 30s at some point here. I'm talking about guys like Franz Wagner and
Nah,
Pablo,
Jason Tatum's
right?
still 25, bro. That joke crazy.
That's crazy.
That he's been 25 since I was in
Yeah,
high school.
I
yeah,
literally remember him at
right.
Duke.
He's been 19 the entire time.
Yeah. I mean Pablo and Franz. I think I honestly think our duo has a potential to be better than that.
Oh yeah,
When
hell
I
yeah.
look at Scotty Barnes, I look at him, Scotty Barnes, and maybe he gets another guy. That's going to be more of the guys that Brandon Miller is going to be competing with. Because I don't think we're going to be doing anything until when we're really doing something. It's going to be like 26, 27. I think we're still a couple years away. But we got 5 minutes here. Hopefully we can get through it. I want to get y'all's opinions on these new owners, man. And I'll start out real quick. It's really different. For me, going from Michael Jordan, who 2021 was really fun, and he was really engaged that year. For reference, why I keep talking about it, because that was the year I really started watching Hornets like every single day. That was the start of it. But over the past few seasons, he's kind of he got away and he lost interest, and he's more interested in losing in NASCAR now. That's more of his thing. But I like these guys. These guys go out. I've seen them talking on Twitter and sending out emails and all that. And all that means a lot personally. But with maybe it was all in just a ruse us, because ticket prices are going up. I heard one was talking about like the upper levels, or I'm not too sure, but like 125% increase in ticket prices. The club seats are going up like 80%. That is ridiculous for a team who has 13 wins. I mean, so what are your thoughts on the ownership? Do you like them? Do you think they're a little bit too involved? Just what are your thoughts on what they've been doing so far?
To go real fast, I like them. I think that the whole ticket thing is something that was put in place before. Because I mean, I don't know how reconstructing the whole building works, and I don't know how getting those ticket prices approved works, but I assume it has to go through a process. They haven't been here that long to really, I feel like they came in the gate and said that, and they seem pretty self-aware of like the situation we're in. So my hope is that they would understand how bad of a look that is. I honestly feel like it was something that was already going to happen. It just so happened to occur on their watch. But I like them. They, like I said, the best thing I like about them is that they seem pretty self-aware about where we are as an organization. They don't seem to like shy about it or say, "Oh, we just been unlucky." It's like, no, we're not good, and we're trying to be good now.
Yeah. Personally, I like them. I honestly like the fact there's two of them because it's checks and balances. I feel like a lot of stuff that happened is like Michael had that last word, and kind of even if it went against the grain. So I like having two through the checks and balances. As far as the ticket prices, I really wasn't aware of that. I don't get my tickets from Ticketmaster anyway. You can always find a good deal on plenty of these apps, so I really don't care, frankly. 'Cause I'm not going to pay whatever the price is, regardless. But I'm sure that it has everything to do with the 2025, 2026 remodel that's scheduled. So like I said, like Darian said, I'm sure that's already been in the pipeline. It was something that they just kind of inherited, and just kind of had to enforce, I guess. But I like them. They seem to be interactive. They seem to know ball, and I think that they do listen to the fans. And I think that at the end of the day, they truly do want this team to be good. I wouldn't put them up there with Steve Ballmer as far as the enthusiasm or anything, but they're
Yeah, he's
engaged in
super
this team.
enthusiastic.
They're engaged. They're engaged in this team. They know what's going on and what's best for this team. I'm interested to see what the GM hire is, and it seems like they want to go with two separate, president and GM, which I like. I want as many checks and balances in this organization as possible. You don't want too many cooks in the kitchen, but I want more voices than just MJ says, "Hey, bro, we're about to do this stupid thing," and everybody goes, "All right, Mike." They're scared. But anyway, we're running out of time, so subscribe to Buzz Boys, subscribe to Trojan Buzz, subscribe to Everyday Buzz City. Yeah.
Did it keep going?
Hey, we're
Bruh. Trust, what the hell, man?
Hey, it is almost midnight, so I don't have a problem wrapping it up. I don't have a problem really keep going. It really doesn't matter. It's all up to you guys, but we can do a proper what's the word, outro, if you want to say. Did we reach all our topics? I know you said we had 8. Did we touch all 8?
Let's see. Did I skip any? I think that's about it. But you brought up one more thing I want to talk about, or get y'all input if you guys have even looked into it. This new GM. Is there any guys you guys are looking at?
I want, I've seen a few, organizations that we've been linked to: the Nets, the Sixers, the Cavs, and is another team that I'm forgetting. But most of the teams, I don't like the shit they've even done. So I'm gonna go with the Cavs because I like the way they built their team.
Yes.
They were ass.
And
LeBron
they
left, they
got
were
good real
ass.
fast.
And they got
They
good
were
real
they were
fast.
ass and then no assets outside of their own.
Exactly. They didn't make any crazy trades until they already kind of built something with Jared Allen, Mobley, Darius Garland, and then they were like, all right, it's time. Boom. They go out and make that move to get Mitchell, and it was never rumored Mitchell to Cleveland. Never. It came out of nowhere. But they went and said, this is our guy, and they did it, which is something that I would love to see the Hornets do. If you decide, okay, LaMelo, Brandon, Miles, Mark, this is enough. This is our core. We need this. Go and get them. Just do
And
this. Just do it.
And then you
Just
can
do
sell
it.
it to the fans if Mitchell were to leave. Be like, look, we got him. He got us to what, the second seed in the East right now, and they probably finished top 4. It's like, what else do you want us to do? I mean, we did everything kind of we could do, and then and then not only that, we still have Garland, we still have Mobley, we still have these other guys that can also contribute. Yes, we're not going to be as good as we were with Mitchell, but we're good enough to where we can either do it again and get somebody else, or we can maybe draft another piece or something like, or develop
I
another
honestly
player.
don't think he's gonna leave.
I don't
It's
think he's
like
going to
like
leave
it's so
either.
set in
It
stone that
wouldn't
he's
make
gone,
sense.
but I don't
Yeah,
see why. I don't get
yeah,
it.
It wouldn't make sense for him to leave. I mean, yeah, you can go to New York, but they will run you out of there as quick as they will embrace you if you don't do right.
Yeah. So
So
honestly, I would want the Cavs GM if he's available.
yeah, and
But
I
my,
would
my
want Pelicans.
question is he, because if I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
or the
he's
Pelicans. Yeah.
not the actual GM. He's like he's part of I think he ran their G League, and he was executive of the year in the G League, I think last year or a year before. I'm not too positive, but I don't think he's like their actual GM. Isn't it Langford? Isn't he the Cavs guy?
Let me see.
I'm not even sure, bro. I'm trying to
Because I
look
know
over
one GM. Let me see.
I don't want Brand from the 76ers.
Yeah, so
Why not?
Landon.
Why not?
Because with the 76ers, bro, outside of Embiid, what the hell has the process been?
They haven't done
It's
anything.
been bullshit. I mean, they threw money at Tobias Harris. I mean, that could basically be our Nick Batum. I mean, he's been better than Nick Batum and more consistent than Nick Batum, but he still hasn't been shit compared to the contract. I mean, look at what happened with Ben Simmons. Look at Markel Fultz. I mean, how many things did the Sixers get wrong? They got Embiid, and he became an MVP type of player to where it's like, okay, as long as he's on your team will always be something. But it's like, I mean, what has the process been? I don't really want
Yeah.
anybody from the 76ers out. I mean, they haven't shown anything.
Yeah, they haven't done
outside of
anything. They just haven't
they
been using
haven't
them.
developed anything and gotten any better. So I
My
wouldn't want
thing
them.
with Elton though is
He's taking
I
that
think
in the job. Also, he also did come out and say that like a few days ago. So
yeah, but obviously hypothetical. I I think he obviously made the wrong decision or he waited too long on Jimmy, and Jimmy left, and therefore you had to pay Tobias, and he freaking overpaid as hell. Now he's been under um a lot of people would consider the best GM of this generation. Um, Maury, David Daniel,
Daniel Morey.
whatever his
Yeah,
first name is. Um, so I wonder, has he learned things from him? But again, you mentioned the Cavs guy. I've
Oh
heard a
yeah,
little
I,
bit
I
about
got it.
him.
I got it pulled up right
Okay.
now. So he is currently their general manager, Mike Gansey.
Oh,
He's expected to be considered for the Charlotte Hornets head of basketball operations. So it would really be kind of a promotion. Um,
okay, got it.
so
I
so
think what they're gonna do is either take the Cavs GM or the Pelicans GM, move them to head of basketball operations, and I still think they're gonna get that assistant GM from the Nets and make him the GM, and do it that way. Which
Yeah,
to to
I
what you
would like
said,
that.
I'd like the
Yeah.
checks and balances of two smart people. They're not
yeah,
gonna allow nothing crazy to happen because while the Nets have made bad moves, they also I feel like has made some pretty good moves too. They just
considering what they
I think
had,
their owner gets in the way too.
yeah, and
For them.
considering where the Nets were like after and then we're going back probably about a decade here, but like that KG Paul Pierce bullshit trade for them little
It
Worst
ruined
trade
motherfuckers,
of
their
all
bro,
future.
time.
it cooked them.
That was
So
the
they,
worst trade of all time.
yeah, so
I
they,
think one of those picks turned into Tatum. Was
Yeah.
didn't
yeah, so they managed to kind of build it back up piece by piece, and I mean managing to get a KD, get a Kyrie. Now, albeit Charlotte will never be a free agent destination like one of those, even if we are good and competitive. The same way as Cleveland, bro. You got to trade for motherfuckers. People ain't just going to willingly live in Cleveland, Ohio. Now we don't have bad weather or anything like that. But still, we know we are still going to be a small market, regardless if we're good or
yeah.
not. So I mean, really, it's going to come down to do we get somebody who has the guts to make a big move and the right move. So
The right move. That's
yeah,
the most
that's
important
going to be
thing.
the biggest thing, no matter what we do.
Okay. You guys mentioned something, and again, I won't hold you guys too long. So whenever you guys just want to go on to bed or get out of here, just let me know. Hey, everything, shut up, bro. All right, just let me know. But you were this is something that comes up a lot about Charlotte, right? And I've been to Charlotte, and I love the city, and this is someone who's been to Miami, right? I've been to New York, I've been to Atlanta, Tampa, uh, Orlando, all these big cities. And what keeps what is keeping like Charlotte from being a destination to possibly be able to be a respected city in terms of market? What do you guys think about that?
I
Like what
honest,
that is?
I
What can they do?
honestly, I mean, as somebody in North Carolina, born and raised, I live in Raleigh. So I mean, we are the capital. Charlotte is like the bigger city. But honestly, it's just the fact that the state, we're not a Florida, we're not a California, we're not a New York. Those markets are always going to be bigger. We're not a Texas. Those markets are always going to be bigger. It doesn't really matter what we do. Now, honestly, with success, we can still be market like when the Panthers and Cam Newton were rocking, bro. Like Cam Newton had everybody coming to Charlotte. So it's gonna be a culture thing, um, in terms of sports or in terms of just like in the United States in general. Why we aren't gonna be one of those destinations. I mean, as far as tourist attractions, we don't have shit. Outside of the Hornets and Panthers. So I mean, as far as from a tour standpoint. Um, but from an NBA thing, I think it's going to take a very long time of very consistent, long tenure success to change the narrative of, Charlotte is not the graveyard for NBA players or something like that. Like,
Yes.
nobody wanted to get sent to Sacramento, bro. That you get sent to Sacramento, your career is over, bro. You're being punished. Like so it's gonna take a long time, regardless of how we view the team, for it to be a general consensus around the NBA of it being a respected destination. It's gonna take years and years and years of
I mean,
winning.
look at it. The Grizzlies have been good for a long time. It's not like they just get key free agents.
Look at
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I think that's the best representation because before this year, I mean, Minnesota was viewed as the worst franchise. I mean, they had the worst winning percentage, even worse than us. Right now, we have the worst in the entire league. So, I mean, we have I mean, literally, we are the worst franchise. I
But I
mean,
feel like also sometimes other stuff outside of basketball dictates the market too. I mean, like
Yeah.
for example, Chicago, no one is going to the Bulls. I mean, what? Zach LaVine got traded there. DeMar DeRozan, I think, got traded. Or did DeMar DeRozan get traded there or he got signed there? I know.
he's nine.
I think he signed because I can't think of who the Spurs would have gotten.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. So he signed. But they were throwing a lot of money. Same with Lonzo. They threw Lonzo a lot of money. Everybody else they had to trade for.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
And
Chicago's
that's
still
just
the
recently.
market.
Before then, it was nobody. It was Derrick Rose and all them. They were already
After
drafted.
that. So really it's gonna be, it's just something that comes with a small market. And now one thing that I can say about Mitch Kupchak, I feel like he harped on that too much, like, oh, we're a small market, we can't do shit. Like
Yes.
he brought that up. He would bring it up sometimes. Like, we're Charlotte, we gotta build
That
through
was
the
literally
draft.
the reason he didn't
Yeah,
do anything.
yeah, and I
That's
understand,
literally.
you do have to build through the draft and stuff like that. But at at the same time, that's why I've talked about the Cavs. They're like, yo, we get nobody's coming. I don't give a fuck. You're coming here. We're trading for you. You can't do nothing about it. It doesn't matter. Like, bro, once you put the trade in, unless they have no trade clause, they're gonna be on your team, bro. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much why I say we need somebody who's gonna be able to have the guts to make the big right move if that's where we are, where it's like that could move the needle. Because as far as Charlotte, it is a great city. I live in Raleigh. I think
Yeah.
Raleigh's one of the top 5 growing cities in the country. It's
They're
getting
trying to put a
packed.
baseball team there.
Yeah, really? The MLB?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the little, I don't know, it's
The
not a hat,
AAA,
but
the
it's in the
AAA
list.
shit. The AAA. We got the fucking Mudcats or whatever.
Well, they're
and the
trying to put like
the
a
Durham Bulls and shit.
MLB team there, but it's like they're trying to decide between Nashville, Memphis, Raleigh, somewhere else.
Yeah,
Hey, Buzz
yeah.
Boys.
So I mean, yes, sir.
So you probably know where I'm at. I'm in New Bern. It used to be the capital of North Carolina. It's nearby. It's like 30 minutes from Greenville.
Okay.
I heard of New Bern for the first time, not heard about it, but like I think I drove through it or something.
The Pepsi brand. We made that. Okay.
Yeah.
We did that. All right. That is our calling card. All right. That is the most important thing in this trash town. All right. I will live on that. I will die on that hill. Pepsi forever. But anyways, I've been to Raleigh, and why are you the capital? Like, why are you the capital of our great city?
Because Sir Walter Raleigh, he just was that guy. He mattered.
I
I don't
will
know.
tell you
So I mean,
this.
yeah, it dates back to the 1800s and shit. Like you don't see like capitals change often. Like it just is what it is. But no,
I'll tell you this, man.
It's Charlotte.
I love NC State. I bleed red, literally. All right. But I will never, ever move to Raleigh, North Carolina. There's nothing. There's nothing.
You tripping. I like Raleigh.
No, Raleigh is nice to live in. It's safe.
My mom lives there. That's
the
I go
market.
there all the time.
Yeah. The market is nice. Downtown is growing, and for Raleigh, it's the RDU. We have top colleges. We have the top doctor schools and STEM and all that stuff. So Research Triangle Park. So we have stuff like that for jobs and stuff. For like Google's coming here, Apple headquarters are coming here. So it's really stuff like that. That's the way we're growing on the 9 to 5 side of things, as far as adult life, come live here and start your family and safe home, sweet home, Raleigh, North Carolina. But Charlotte is the capital as far as, if you talk to a New Yorker and you start to talk to them about North Carolina, they're going to bring up Charlotte because that's all they know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my eyes, Charlotte's the capital. I mean, I don't ride around Raleigh and be like, yo, this is the best thing that North Carolina has to offer. We don't even got fucking Carowinds. We don't got shit.
Yeah, because I honestly think what it was and why I have so much, I despise Raleigh. And
Despise is crazy.
yes,
That is
yes, yes.
Despise is crazy.
Because listen, when I was a kid, right? And it's always a crazy story. That's the reason why you have horrible memories of a place, right? So I'm with my mom, okay, and I took time off to be away from my dad or whatever because she said, John, I have a huge surprise. This is your birthday, right? I'm like, oh my god, I'm like 5. I'm 5 years old. All right, so I don't know where we're going. I'm like, oh, we're going to like Busch Gardens, or we're about to have fun or something. You know where this woman takes me, man? She takes me.
Fair? Was it a fair?
No. It couldn't. No way. She takes
Hurricanes
me
game.
to the National Bird Museum in Raleigh, North Carolina, and she's like, surprise! And forever, I will not like Raleigh. There's
That's some internal PTSD, man. We don't have anything to do with that, man.
Man, it is awful. But
try living in Atlanta. That is awful.
How? Why?
It's terrible. Traffic is the worst. As for someone who lives there, it's terrible. It's the most.
You live in Atlanta?
It's the worst thing ever, bro.
I thought you lived in South Carolina.
No, I would.
Nah.
I swear, I didn't know you lived in Atlanta. I could have swore you lived in South Carolina this whole time.
It is terrible. It is terrible here.
Charlotte?
Traffic is. Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I've been to like driving in Charlotte for multiple days at a time. I've been in there like a day, 2 days, but like 3-4 days, I don't know. But Atlanta, it's terrible. Traffic 24/7. It doesn't matter when. People are trash. It's a terrible place. I wouldn't recommend it. Everybody likes to talk about it because of music, and that's where all the famous people like to be. You'll see famous people all the time. You'll go into Lenox Mall and you'll see, like one time I was in there and there was this big crowd, and then someone walked out and I'm like, yeah, that was Lil Wayne's daughter. Like, so people will just be in there. But it's just not worth it, man. It's not worth it.
No, I definitely have heard Atlanta's traffic is trash. And even when you think about Atlanta, they're not a free destination. I think it's just really when it comes down to the South, man, like the markets when it comes to the United States is always going to be New York, LA, Miami, Texas. And Texas, I mean, they don't really get as much free agents as you would think, considering the fact that they don't have income tax.
I was just about to say, yeah, the taxes.
So, I mean, really, it's just them big markets are always going to be New York and California. That's what the NBA is always going to.
And the Knicks struggled until Brunson came. They struggled with getting people for years. So it's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's just
it's all politics, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, you can't really even, I don't even know how you make it better because, like I said, the Grizzlies, they've been good basically since they've been in Memphis. Of course, they've had down years, but they've been pretty solid since they've been to Memphis. And I don't remember the last time they signed like a really big free agent.
It's going to take another. When does the TV? There's another TV deal coming, right?
Yeah, it's going to take stuff like that.
It's going to take another 2016 type year where whoever has that money at that time could possibly like reset the NBA in a little way. When does it sound? I mean, that's coming. Like we're talking about.
It should be. It should be because I know that's why like the whole Bali stuff got blown up.
Yeah, like we're talking about like 2025, right? Like it's coming.
The TV deals this year, because that's why Adam Silver was so crazy about the All-Star game. I'll probably cut a lot of this, like so don't worry. But I'm just loving the conversation. What are you guys' thoughts on the All-Star break?
Let's try it. I like the 3-point contest.
The
Everything
3-point
else.
contest was cool. The Sabrina thing
That
was
was
cool.
cool.
I
Kenny
love that.
Smith.
That
Kenny
was so
Smith was
fun.
apparently being a menace. I was watching the alternate broadcast with I believe Draymond and Chuck. So I missed like
Oh
the
no,
whole Kenny
Kenny was
Smith
going crazy.
menace
Kenny
thing.
was losing his mind, bro.
Yeah,
He was.
yeah. So he was probably belligerently drunk or something. I missed that. But the dunk contest, man. Now because it hit my parlay, hey, it is what it is. Carly Towns was shooting twos. His foot was on the line. He hit my parlay. Jaylen Brown doing disgusting dunks. It was all rigged. He hit my parlay. So it's like, hey, bro, as far as the money goes, I'll take the money, but it was disgusting. I think it was clearly rigged dunk contest because there are no big names in dunk contest. So
You
it
see
was
that
like, yeah,
Jaylen Brown dunk,
make
bro?
make Jaylen Brown get past the first round. It was on the objective. You could not have the finals be two G Leaguers. Adam Silver would have been
Bro.
disgusted with that. Jacob Toppin should have made it. So it was clearly rigged for Jaylen Brown. It was disgusting. But I think the problem with All-Star Weekend is players think they're too cool for almost anything now. All
That's
these
all it
players'
is.
egos are inflated. They have too much money. They feel like they're too cool that they can't do what their predecessors did. Michael Jordan played the Michael Jordan was in the dunk contest. Why do you feel like you can't do it? I mean, it just I don't understand. Everybody feels like they're
I
too
think
cool.
it's that, and I think they don't want to get their feelings hurt.
Yeah, the All-Star game, nobody wants to take it serious. I mean, damn, why do you need $1 million in incentives to go play a fucking pickup basketball game, dude?
Yeah.
We're not saying go super duper hard and pick up at 90 feet and play, like, bro, can you at least give us a competitive third, fourth quarter, dude?
It's like y'all already don't play. Y'all already
Yeah,
sit out.
yeah.
It's like you at least good.
And it's just like it's becoming just a problem with the NBA in general. Where I mean, you have players talking about some 65 games. That's too much, bro. What? I mean, you had motherfuckers like John Stockton who missed like 18 games his entire career in 22 years. Like, bro, you don't got to play 82. I'm not expecting that in today's day and age. What is the problem with you playing 70, 75 games, bro? What's the problem? Baseball plays crazy numbers. Hockey plays 82, and they're way more physical. Like, it's just, bro,
They're
everybody's too
encouraged
cool.
to be this.
Everybody's too cool. That's the problem right now.
Do
That
you
is
think
the
there's
problem.
any fix?
I mean,
Any
you
solution?
can fix it, but it's gonna have to come the same way with them trying to make the regular season, stay engaged. There has to be some type of postseason, rewards, incentives.
That's why
I mean, it
baseball
has
to
to
me
come.
has the best All-Star.
It has to come
I
down to seeding.
heard that I saw a rumor, and of course rumors are just rumors, but I heard there might be like something you could do where the winner gets home
court.
position in the
That's what they do
finals.
in baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's an idea, but I think it's ridiculous, bro.
It's
Like,
insane that you have to
all I'm
really
asking,
incentivize it like that. Just play basketball, dude.
just
Yeah,
go
because
out
this is
there.
the thing. I feel like back in the day, players took that as I rarely get to play Allen Iverson, let's say. So I'm going to show up. And not everybody's able to see when the 76ers are playing the Seattle Supersonics or the 76ers are playing, So this is my time to on national stage to show up AI. And we would get, even if neither one of them playing defense, they're both were dropping buckets back and forth. We don't even get that. At least because we got that more in the Rising Star Challenge with Jaden Ivey and Ben Mathurin that we got in the All-Star
That was
game.
crazy.
Neither one of
I
them were
was
really
like,
playing that great of a defense, but they were going at each other offensively.
At least go and get each other off. Like,
right, but now we can't. Like LeBron, different. He's literally been doing this for 20 years. But like other guys, it's like I would want to see you go back. I want to see Jason Tatum and I don't even can't think of Luka go back and forth for three. Give me 3-4 possessions, then y'all can sit down. Or I want to see Ant go against Jaylen Brown for 3-4 possessions.
And I mean that's the problem. I mean you got Ant coming out. Yeah, I'm gonna play all left-handed and trolling from the very fucking beginning. He played like 3 minutes too. He had his ass down.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey. If you ever see this, you are a terrorist and you owe me money. Tyrese Maxey in that second half, bro, he stole. So, bro, he cost me like $120 bro. Bro, he literally refused to shoot. He refused to score.
Yeah, he wasn't. Yeah,
He had the alley-oop, bro, landed with that bitch, and came back out and threw the ball out to Jalen Brunson. And he did that like every possession. He refused to score. Dude, who do you think you are that you feel like you're too cool for the All-Star game? Carly Towns going crazy. Dame Lillard going crazy. Why did you feel like you? Why did you do that, bro? Like, fuck Tyrese Maxey. But and it's really Doc Rivers' fault because he benched him the whole third quarter. And maybe him getting benched the whole third quarter was like made him like say fuck the All-Star game. But like,
he was
dude,
mad at him.
it's
He
your
was mad
first
about
time playing an
year.
All-Star game. You don't even care.
You should be
That's
going
the problem.
crazy.
You know,
You're the
like,
one. That's why the East won because they had so many
Exactly.
young players. They were like, we about to go crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, Tyrese literally scored 10 points in one quarter and then stopped caring.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know why he did that to me. So yeah, that's the only thing I have to say. Tyrese Maxey, you are a terrorist, and I don't want to see you ever make the All-Star ever again in your life. Outside of that, man, I got the All-Star game off my chest. I don't care, but it's sad you got to incentivize it like that.
I think an interesting one that I'd like to see is that a couple players been talking about that 1v1 competition.
That I do want to see.
I think that's something that
King of the Court.
fun.
King of the Court could definitely be a great.
And
ability.
another thing is,
but the
I
players
think
have to try.
Yeah. If it should only be the players that want to do it. Like if you want to do it, but I feel like Tatum, he would like to do it. Ant, he'd like to do it. I think the 3-point contest, something I need to see. I need to see this next year. Is let's evolve this challenge we got. That was fun as hell.
Yeah, I like that.
I would love
the tiebreakers
to see,
or Curry, Sabrina. What you talking about?
Sabrina. I would love to see Sabrina and Caitlin Clark versus Dame Dollar and Steph Curry in like a team 3-point contest. I think that would be really, really fun to see because I don't know if y'all catch any Caitlin Clark.
She can hoop. She a hooper.
Jesus. We might need to draft her, man. Screw Holland. Screw Sarr. Screw Williams.
Hey, she can. Hey, anybody that can pull out that court. Hey, look, I'll take you on the Hornets.
Come here, Queen. Come here. Pull up some threes for me.
Yeah, but they do need to do something. I mean, I'm all for players. I'm all for anybody getting their money. I don't think that they should get paid. You already get paid for making it. What I think the NBA should do is look. If you're not playing, don't worry about it. You're not coming.
Don't worry.
We'll get somebody who wants to come.
Treat it like the NFL Pro Bowl. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? If you don't want to play, don't freaking play. Stay home, whatever. Fine. We'll get somebody else. And that's where it's like it's enough young players in the NBA who want to be there. Like, bro, Trae Young sitting there getting snubbed. Bro, just let him play. He wants to go out there and freaking play, you know. And I think a part of it, the fan vote is definitely going to have to be diminished, bro, because half the votes get freaking wasted on stupid shit. But it's the players too, bro. The players,
they'll troll too.
The players troll with their votes too, bro. Like, why did the Nationals have 3 votes, bro? Who did that, dude? Who's responsible? Like every single year, bro, they'll vote for some random bum.
Remember that 1 year Zaza Pachulia technically made it.
Yeah, Zaza
had to step in and was like, no,
bro. Like, come on, bro.
They need to fix the voting.
Man, remember, that just reminded me when JT Thor got cooked by Thanasis, bro. Did you cringe in your seat? Did you like?
By that point, I had turned the game off.
Yeah,
I turned the game off before that because we were down like 40 something. So I didn't see that.
And the new guys were on the way, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah, I was like, bro, this doesn't matter. You know, like it's over. And
then I swear to God,
I was like, oh my God.
I saw it, and it was on this TV. I saw him sham God, and he made it. I turned it off. I swear to God, I turned my TV off. I ran out. I said, Grandma, I can't keep doing this. All right, I can't.
JT should have walked off the court.
Yeah, nah.
What made just retire, bro?
What made me turn it off was Nick Smith Jr. I remember Nick Smith Jr. shot a deep ass 3 and barely hit the backboard and was nowhere near the rim. That's what made me turn it off. That was a break point for me. I turned it off then. I was like, I can't.
That was so embarrassing.
Yeah, that's when I turned it off. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah,
and that was the game after the trade, right?
no, that was before.
That was the trade.
the
I think
game
the
before.
trade happened, right? But
They
they weren't
the
there
Bucks,
yet.
That was the Bucks game
Yeah.
before the trade. We traded and that was the game before the deadline.
Oh,
I think that might have been the last game before the deadline.
Oh, okay.
Or the game before. Yeah, I think that was the last game before the deadline.
Okay, because I thought that was the game where.
Oh no,
Miles
it was. We traded the trade. We made the trade. They just weren't there because remember we went to on trade deadline day. We went to Milwaukee and they met us in Charlotte. So I think it was trade deadline day, but we didn't have anybody because we don't trade it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody else was no good, and then we traded.
Yeah.
People who were.
Yeah. That's what it was.
So we really only had like 5 people. 6 people.
We had like 7. That's when we called up Amari Bailey. He didn't even play, but really we were the Greensboro Hornets. So it was like
it was whatever.
Can't get no PT even when we trade half our damn roster. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. Last thing, because you guys gotta go, and I probably should hit the sack because I got school tomorrow morning.
Bro, how old are you?
How old am I? 21.
Okay, you're in college. I was to say
what?
When you said school, I was like school.
Yeah, when you said school, I'm like, damn, bro, like, how old are you?
Yeah,
I gotta go.
Yeah, I get it all the time, man. Yo, I was at work, and I tried to talk to this girl or whatever, and she was like, hold on, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 21. I was like, damn, I thought you were like 15. I was like, fuck, shit. Like that is the most embarrassing thing. Like
beard oil, bro.
Like I can't grow though, bro. Like
I looked 17 until I was 25, so I get it.
Yeah.
Yo, it's rough over here. Like I be looking like I'm homeless. I have like little like here, like I'll get some here.
Oh yeah, you gotta make sure you keep the neck clean. But like, you get some beard oil and you do your routine, like it'll start to come in, bro. Cause I'm trying to.
So for me, because it took forever for my beard to grow. At our old house, that was our house. My wife and I, we owned that house. And I remember I did something, and we took the trash out or something, and this lady came up to me, and she was in like this was like when we first moved in there, and she was like, "Hey, I'm blah blah blah. It's nice to meet you." She was like, "I would love to meet your parents."
You're right. Like,
mind you, me knowing that my parents are North Carolina, I was like, what? Then I thought about it. I was like, no, this is my house. She was like, oh, I'm so sorry. But it was because I literally didn't have any facial hair. And like I said, until I turned 25, I looked like I was like 16. But it was like,
it sucks, man, at times. Like most of the time, like I'm so thankful because, dude, like I'm so happy I can just wake up, like my hair like this. Like I don't do shit with this, man. It just I wake up like this and I get out of here, and it is what it is. But once I get this beer, bro, and you talking about putting vitamin D on it or like sunscreen, all this shit, I'm like, bro, I am not doing all that, bro. I just want to wake up and leave. I ain't waking up no like 30 minutes doing no brushing and none of that shit, man. But but last thing, and we got the playoffs coming up here, right? And we got some good teams. Who are your picks coming up for a finals?
Let's see.
And what are some sleepers? Give me 2 sleepers.
Oh, sleepers? Well, the Clippers, because I've always had the Clippers, but they probably won't count as sleepers anymore, though, right?
Yeah, that's probably
because that was my team originally. But yeah, I guess
Nuggets and Clippers.
The Nuggets, I think the Nuggets could definitely go back. Let me see. I really gotta look. I don't know. OKC could surprise people. I mean, it's like I still feel like OKC are sleepers just because it's like
OKC feels like Sacramento last year to me.
Yeah, they could be like, they can make that conference final. I really feel like the NBA is super wide open. To be honest. As far as the East, I have the Celtics coming out of the East probably, but it could easily be the Bucks. They could get their act together and end up coming out.
I think it's the Knicks, man.
Yeah, the Knicks are a sleeper team. Like, the NBA, that's what I was saying. It's wide open, man. The Hornets.
Yeah, because if the Suns can finally get healthy, ain't no telling what they can do.
Bro, no way. No,
I'm telling you.
no.
I'm not going to
telling
go
you.
against
I'm
any
telling
team
you.
that has KD and Devin Booker.
KD? You talking about KD? Kevin Durant?
KD
Where
and-
was he last year? What happened to him? What happened
Nah,
to him?
KD's,
went
KD's
ghost?
fraud. KD's never going to go
He went
anywhere. It's
ghost?
over.
Hey,
KD's
look,
going to
I'm
retire
not-
with 0 rings.
If they
Yoki messed him up now. Yoki
But
messed him
how do y'all
up.
feel about the Timberwolves though? Because they're number 1 in the West. We haven't even.
First
I'll
round.
forever
First
hate the Timberwolves because of that year where his rookie year where he got hurt and D'Lo was on there and he was like, "I told you Ant was rookie of the year," and it was like, bro, LaMelo just broke his ankle in half.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
ever since then,
wow.
I've been rooting for the Timberwolves' downfall.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I feel like the West could go either way. I'm
It
going
could.
to see it with the
I'm
I'm
West.
going OKC. I wouldn't want to play a good young team at home.
Right.
I think
More
OKC and Minnesota.
I wouldn't
those
sleep.
are two teams
As
are
far
probably
as
going to
sleeper team goes, man, I would say you can never count out LeBron James, man. So as far as sleeper team, they're the 9th seed. So if we're talking about sleeper, I mean, sleeper,
he would do it.
You know what I'm saying? I would have to say, you never know what can happen when it comes down to LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Just fades on and over the sunshine, sunlight. No, sunset.
You
There we go.
you give him a team. He's the Tom Brady of this, where as soon as you bet against him,
He
Right?
finds
I
a
mean,
way.
the thing is, it's so wide open. The Lakers Lakers Timberwolves series. I'm not gonna be like, hell no, LeBron doesn't have a chance. No, I mean the Timberwolves don't have no experience. LeBron AD kick it into another gear. Their role players actually do something. All of a sudden,
I
the
think
Timberwolves
it's
scrape.
Minnesota's time, man.
OKC scrape.
I think it's out of those two. If you're saying OKC and Minnesota, I'd pick Minnesota to get out of the first round. I think OKC is going.
Oh yeah, they definitely could. But I'm saying the Lakers can mess around and beat either one of those teams. If it came down to it.
Minnesota now, like, yeah, they were bad last year, but they were in the fucking playoffs. They won a game against the Nuggets that went on the best run of all time with the best player of our generation in Nikola Jokic, and they actually got a game, which I think the rest of the playoffs they lost 3 games that series.
The Lakers could have messed around and did something, bro, but Darvin
Nah,
Ham
man,
idiot,
no. There was no stopping. There were no stopping.
Darvin Ham is an idiot, bro. But them games were so close, bro. Like Jokic just started making crazy threes.
Bro,
like,
I gotta tell y'all this, bro. Look, I've watched since 2009. All right, Kobe Bryant, Celtics finals, and I've watched I watched a ton of basketball. I have never in my life seen a more unstoppable run during an entire playoff than I saw from Nikola Jokic last year. Like
they couldn't nobody could stop him.
Yeah.
There was nothing. There was
Tristan Thompson was low-key doing his thing, though.
Bruh, he
was. He wasn't.
They brought bro from ESPN, and he was like, "Hey, bro, fuck
he was their best option."
You want to know what it was? You know what
steroids.
It was some steroids, man. That's when he was taking them. It wasn't this year, bro. It was during the playoffs.
They had to go test him. They're like, nah, bro, there ain't no way. Ain't no way he was doing that.
There weren't no way, bro.
But yeah, as far as the East go, I would say, I would just say Celtics. I mean, as far as sleeper goes, I would say Cavs or Knicks. Wouldn't count the Bucks out, but we're still talking about like top 4 seeds. So it's like really we say sleeper, like I don't really know what that could constitute. I don't think the 76ers have a chance. I think they're never gonna do shit. Pacers, no.
Really? You don't think Joel healthy? Because I think that team, healthy Joel, is better than last year for sure.
I just don't think Joel is ever going to be healthy. I think
because even last year, I think he was missing games in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the 76ers are always just going to be a Mickey Mouse team. When it comes down to Joel Embiid, he's going to do his regular season shit. Then I think they're just going to be second round exits at best. I haven't seen it, and it's like as time goes on. Stuff like that doesn't get better. Joel Embiid's going to get older. The injuries are going to get worse.
Yeah,
and eventually it's going to be cooked.
It's time for him right now. The one thing that I've been wanting to see for a long time, and I think you guys, this would be the finals of probably the next 3, the best of the last 4 years would be the 76ers versus the Nuggets. I think that's something that we deserve to see.
Embiid is going to sit out the entire series,
Bro,
ducking Jokic, and it's going to be over.
imagine
He
that.
he
Imagine he
refuses
makes
to
the
play
finals.
Jokic
He
in
refused
Denver.
to play Jokic, bro. Like, bro, he's not going to fucking play. But
The
Joel
only
is
time
only
he'll play
29,
Jokic
though.
is if they go to Philly, but he will not play Jokic in
Right.
Denver.
Joel is only
Oh,
29, though, but he turns
did you guys
30.
hear about Luka and Joker?
I heard
Did you
that.
guys
Yeah,
hear
he
that?
was like, if he gets pissed off in Dallas, he can come here.
Yeah.
It's over. It'd be over.
Oh, yeah, no. It'll be over for sure. It'll be over for
Well,
sure.
hopefully that's in 2027 when we have a pick. So
Yeah,
the
they
Mavericks
had their
can-
pick, but the only thing about that is that they both barely give a fuck about basketball. So after like 3 years, they'll be like, "All right, let's go retire and freaking ride horses or some shit," and
I
it
couldn't
wouldn't
see
go
that.
on for too long.
The crazy part is in that 3 years, the 3 years they have together, they either will they will win it every year or win 2 of the 3
Yeah, they would go
by
crazy.
accident.
But yeah, Joel turns 30 next month, man. So it's like, as far as their window, man, like I think they got a few more years to try to do something. But I mean, it's Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid right now. That doesn't say, championship team. I mean, they're a good team, but I just think they need that real third star. Tobias Harris is just it's Tobias
And then they
Harris,
got
bro.
Buddy Hield.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So it's just, I mean, I just don't think that team's ever going to have enough to get over the hump while
think-
Joel Embiid is still in his prime.
I
Because
think
what is a
that
34-year-old Joel Embiid cook?
I think that team reminds me a lot of remember the 76ers in the Raptors and Sixers series. That was a team, if it wasn't for
Kawhi, yeah.
Kawhi Bryant out here just turning into Kobe in late game situations that year. That's a team that goes to the finals that year.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget who they played in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I mean they got the shooting. They have, I think Tyrese is better at the point. Buddy Hield, he's gonna elevate their shooting. Kelly Oubre, Harris, Joel, but it's all about health with them. But if I had to choose, if I had to tell you what my pick would be, oh god, because I don't trust Boston, man. I just don't.
It's just Nuggets repeat, man.
I think it's the Nuggets and the Knicks winning 5. Fuck it.
Nuggets aren't beating the Knicks.
Hell no, I ain't gonna lie to them.
You don't trust them?
No,
you don't have no.
I trust. I can see them making it that far. I don't see them beating Jokic.
I think
they don't have an answer for Jokic.
I think the Knicks are going to be a team, bro, where they get to that like Eastern Conference Finals, and the stage is too big, bro, and they get cooked and they sell. And I mean, it would still be monumental just for them to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals because they ain't done shit in a long ass time. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's another thing.
I would probably just go out on a limb and just say Nuggets repeat. I would probably just say Nuggets Celtics. I would say Nuggets Celtics. That's my prediction, to be honest. Nuggets Celtics and Nuggets in 6 or something like that.
Man, if honestly, I'd like to see the Clippers and the Celtics.
That'd be a better matchup.
I just don't think James Harden is ever going to get back to that stage, man.
Yeah, bro. I lost all faith in him last playoffs, like because he had a good year, and then when they needed him, like weren't they up like 3-2? They were up 3-2 in that series, and he had 2 goose eggs, and then that last game, both of them dudes quit.
Yeah, he's sold, man. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm cooked.
Yeah,
go to bed, bro.
All right, appreciate it. If you guys want to do it another time, you have my contacts. Love spending time with y'all. Appreciate it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share the video with a friend.
Yes,
anyways, go check out their channels. Buzz Boys, trust the buzz. I'm out. Any last words?
How is it going to work? Like, we all just gonna be able to have a video and post it on our YouTube, like right?
Yeah,
right,
I should. It said it was supposed to download to everybody's thing. So if by tomorrow y'all don't have it, let me know and I'll send it. But it says once I click in recording, everybody should be able to download it. So, but
Yeah,
if you
so
don't, then let me know.
so we can go ahead and post it, yeah, because we play on Thursday, so people can have something to watch, today, getting
Yeah,
prepared for the
Yeah.
NBA Finals run that we're about to go on, 30-0.
got to be immaculate.
Yeah, so yeah, man. But I'll catch y'all, man. It was nice talking
All
to
right,
y'all,
man.
boys, man. I got to get ready for work, the 9 to 5 grind, man.
I hate it here.
Yeah,
I got you, man.
for sure. All
All
right,
right, see
man.
y'all, man.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all.